It is. It's been a long time coming. And to be fair, Mexico's one of those teams that I don't, unless you've got some weird kind of anti-Mexico bias, I don't think anybody can. I don't. Everybody's got a lot of love for Mexico, just like the vibrant shirt colors. Like the shirt itself is a very pretty shirt that you're wearing right now, but historically the shirts are always nice, or at least like noticeable and vibrant in the bright colors. And I think of like being old. I think of like George Campos and the ridiculous, luminous, multicolored goalkeeper shirt he had, and playing up front as a striker randomly at the same time. Nuts. So yeah, Wales Mexico is it should be fun. It should be. I'm not going to say I'm massively confident right now, but it's about the occasion tonight, especially as a Wales fan. It's very much about Chris Gunter and his winning his 100th cap, which is well the first Welsh player ever to get to a century. Mm. Careful, careful. Yeah, I'd say about that. That's about a fair number. Oh, I think it was 2007. I think he made his debut, international debut. So yeah, you're looking at, if that is 2007, you look at 14 years by this point in time, which is nuts. And the players he's played with, you think of basically he's kind of been in like 3 different Wales teams. The one where when he came through as a young kid, and you've got those older heads, then you've got that generation he came through with, and now at the moment he's very much one of the older heads with the younger guys went through. So effectively, you've got like he's kind of had 3 generations of Wales teams that he's had, and all the players he's played with, or the names he's been involved with, like a Chris Coleman or a Gary Speed. Yeah, it's special, and I mean. Yes, well, you look at the Wales history, and like Neville Southall got, I think it was 92 caps. Big Nev got, and that was the record until, well, obviously Gunter beat the record, but now he's the first to get to 100. I'm sure Gary Speed got, I think it's 80 bang on, but I could be wrong on that, as the most capped outfield player. So there's all these, and then you got players like Ian Rush, Mark Hughes, you go back to John Charles, John Toshak, all these sort of players who have done wonders for Wales, of these big name players, and then you've got little Chris Gunter just getting to 100. As I mean, anybody who's a Welsh fan will basically have the same sort of analogy for Chris Gunter, where he is effectively, he's you on the pitch, he is the fan on the pitch. With he's all the fan on the sidelines, because being honest, the last probably year or so he's not been a regular starter for Wales, but obviously he is tonight. So yeah, just so much love for Chris Gunter. So, and I was saying earlier today to you and the lads in the Let's Talk Sport group chat about just one of the most iconic iconic photos in Welsh football history is just the Gunter giving it the keep your chins up.
What was that? Was that towards someone, or was that just a?
That was to the fans.
Oh, it was to the fans.
That was yeah, for context. I'm sure there's a way to throw out the picture itself right now, but I have no idea how. Yeah, but it was it was Wales. We'd started the Euros. We beat Slovakia, and then the next game was England, and it started so well. We got 1-0 up.
And he did the.
Yeah.
And he did.
Yeah, it was after that we got, anyway. Long story short, I was in Ironworks in town in Wrexham in the afternoon, crammed. I've never been in a pub that full where it was just like this, because it was an afternoon game, maybe a Tuesday possibly.
But that's the beautiful thing about the Welsh, like they are so good in terms of crowds, like in numbers. Like Wrexham are a great example. The Welsh rugby team and the Welsh, even when it's just to qualify in Cardiff City Stadium, it's a fantastic atmosphere.
Yeah, I don't know, a lot of it sounds very primal and basic to go back to, and maybe lazy to point out was the reason, but I think a lot of it comes down to the anthem. It's just that anthem is...
Oh, it's amazing.
I mean, I can only speak as a Welsh person with my own anthem. I can only speak about that. I mean, I'm sure it's the same for a lot of different nationalities across the world, that their anthem is very special to them. But it's just, I don't know, just as soon as you hear that anthem, you go straight away. I'm getting goosebumps now. I feel like I'm about to cry. But yeah, anyway, the Gunter, the chin up thing, it was after the England game, after we got beaten in the last minute from Daniel Sturridge.
Oh,
as somebody that can't
stand Liverpool, I can't stand Daniel Sturridge.
Exactly, it was a Liverpool player. It was Daniel Sturridge. It was the last minute, and he did that. Can I swear on this or not?
Yeah, of course.
He did that stupid fucking.
Oh, I know.
And it's just like, that's the last thing.
And then you had Rooney going up to the camera, shaking it.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want to see in like the 93rd minute, when you just can see the goal, I've lost the game. And so obviously you feel it downbeat after that. And so Gunter just went over to the Wales fans and was just, that was his like, all right, keep your chins up. We're still in this. And obviously we go on to get through to the semi-finals where we got beat by Portugal, the eventual winners.
At least you lot
in this shirt actually.
At least you lot could actually score goals though, because I remember we were against Slovakia and we couldn't even get a goal.
The one that surprised me the most, I'll be honest, was the Russia game.
As in when you beat them or when we drew against them?
No, when we beat them so convincingly.
You thrashed them, yeah.
And Neil Taylor scored. Who used to play for Wrexham is from. I think he's from.
Neil Taylor. Is he Newport?
Local. No, he's North Wales. There's a place on the tip of my tongue, and I forgot the fucking name of it. Oh my god. Bear with an R. Anyway, he's nearby. I'm like half an hour away. No, not that one. Jesus Christ, man, that's a sign of lockdown. A year of being stuck in a house, my brain is fried. But yeah, the fact that Neil Taylor scored and he nearly missed it. It was like a 1-1 with the keeper, and then the keeper saved it, and then he put in the rebound. Well, I can favour it be, I guess. But yeah, that really surprised me, the Russia game, and obviously the Belgium game, which I was just again today watching that. There's so many clips of that game doing the rounds today on Twitter because Chris Gunter in the last minute and Vokes with the header.
That Vokes header was just beautiful. I remember I was quite pissed while watching the game.
You were?
Yeah.
I was.
but it was one of those, like, when we saw the Hal Robson Carnu goal, I was literally thinking, where did he come up with that? And then but then the Vokes goal, I think I nearly cried because of the Vokes goal, because I saw Vokes play at League One at one point, and I think it was just a nice moment to see, not a typical Ronaldo or Rooney story where they score and you think, oh, they've always been at the top. But no, it was nice to see some of the Welsh players that don't get that much kind of stardom on the pitch, and that whole summer was their lifetime, of what they've worked towards. And yeah, that Welsh team was hard to hate, if you know what I mean. Even though I'm English, it was you could get behind them, and I think sadly in that semi-finals they looked tired, didn't they, at the end?
Yeah,
and they missed Ramsey. I think.
Yeah, I was about to say we looked knackered and we missed Rambo.
Ramsey was so good.
There were two big things in it, and when I was watching the clip today of the Sam Vokes goal, that was one of the things that came to mind. Really, it was like that was his moment where. Yeah. I mean, Sam Vokes, he's played the Premier League, he's played Championship, he's had a good career. And he's still playing, obviously, to this day. But it's like that was his standout moment. That was, like you said, if it was a Ronaldo, it would have just been Ronaldo scores a header. But it wasn't. It was Sam Vokes. Sam Vokes on the international stage, putting Wales into a European Championship semi-final.
It's crazy.
I can't think of a goal. It's like that I've celebrated that. I'm trying to think. Then that was my thinking face. Was there's few goals, if any, that I've celebrated that much. It was the Hal Robson Canning one. Was just disbelief, like you said, like where has that came from? That was just like everybody who I was watching it with. It was just this disbelief of that, and it was similar with the Sam Vokes one because it was the 89th minute. We were trying to see the game out, and it was Sam Vokes scoring that. That was a world class header, but it was that moment of, as well as the disbelief that holy shit, what's just happened. There was the relief and the reality then of like, with 3-1, I'm getting goosebumps again talking about this. with 3-1 up, it was just that sealed it. We were done, and there was just that weirdness of we're beating Belgium 3-1 with a minute to go. It's not job done, but it pretty much is job done. It was insane, and that all goes back to Chrissy Gunter, where it was him. Gunter. Yeah, it was him with the ball in the right-hand corner flag, and that's where you're thinking it's 2-1. You hold the ball there, you try and believe the throw in, and Chris Coleman. There's a famous quote of Chris Coleman, "Don't you cross the fucking ball, Christopher." And he crosses it. Yeah, it's brilliant. There's Wales fans with flags with that quote on it of "Don't you cross the fucking ball, Christopher." And he crossed it, and because obviously it is, you don't want to cross it. You just keep the ball there, see it out. But he crossed it. Sam Vokes header. Jesus, man, what a night!
But it's like, it reminds me of like the Vincent Kompany goal against Leicester, and Sterling said,
don't shoot.
"Yeah, I think Aguero was like, don't shoot," and then at full time, Aguero was just like, "He's like, where did that come from?"
Yeah, because you see him walk, like they capture it on the cameras. He's going up to him, going, "I said don't shoot.
Yeah,
I said don't shoot, Vinny." And he's just like, "How has this centre half scored this 30-yard thunder bastard?"
And that goal was, I mean, even as you know, I'm a United fan, it was a hell of a goal. And I like the commentary from Martin Tyler saying, "Oh, Captain Marvel" or something like that. And I was like, yes, perfect line, perfect line.
I mean, it was similar with, obviously, it was a totally different goal. But I remember the Captain Marvel thing. I mean, obviously, it used to always be Brian Robson, but I remember it coming out for Steve Bruce against Sheffield Wednesday for United in the 1993 season when they won the league for the first time. And it was, I think it was at Hillsborough. And Steve Bruce has scored two headers in stoppage time to win the game 2-1. And that was the whole Captain Marvel thing then came out on the commentary. And bizarrely, the second goal was Gary Pallister crossing it. So Gary Pallister crossing it in from the right, one centre-half, Steve Bruce, the other centre-half, to head in. And then that's when you see all the pictures of Fergie runs on the pitch and Brian Kidd's on his
Brian
knees.
Kidd just jumps, doesn't he?
That was that game. That was those goals. So that was another Captain Marvel.
It's absolutely amazing. I mean, of course, we've got to remember there's a game on. It's been 8 minutes of Wales versus Mexico. Have you noticed Mexico's new kit is absolutely beautiful? It's black, but they've got all this like pink, typical Azteca kind of symbols going on in the middle. They announced it a few months ago, but I think it's only this week they finally wore it. They played Costa Rica last Tuesday and won 3-0 in it. I think it was played in Budapest. I might be wrong, but it looked like Puskas Arena where they were playing.
Who knows these days? Because I know. Obviously, with restrictions and COVID, like you could be Mexico. Well, Wales versus Mexico could be taking place in like Zagreb for all we know right now. If you didn't know it was in Cardiff, just because of obviously the games being moved. The Mexico kit looks delightful. I was really impressed with the Wales away shirt, the yellow one. Like,
I watched the Belgium game the other night with Jack, and I was saying to Jack, because I think it was the first time I saw the yellow kit, and I said, this is so Wales-esque. You know, it really is Wales standard. And I think that is I always think with football kits now, it's a big, for me, it's a big job to get it right, because you've got to understand the team as well. They've all got, you know, like history symbols and all that on kits, and I just think sometimes you can go back to a shirt and change it a little bit, or try something different. And if you try something different, that's the biggest risk of it all. But I like this Wales home one as well, actually.
Oh, gets in!
Oh no, it's not Chris Gunter, is it?
No, it is not. It's big old Kiefer Moore.
Oh.
More. How do you like it? Nice. That was really nicely worked. Just seemed like a really easy finish. I'm not going to be that. It was like that.
Oh, he drags it as well, doesn't he? Before he kicks it.
Are you on a slight delay to me?
I am. I thought the S4C app would be on time, but nope, it's shit.
Oh, it was like earlier today doing the same with my mates watching the Wrexham game, and we.
Oh yeah, they beat Bromley, didn't they?
Yeah, it was a cracking game. We did a Zoom call just to watch it, and there was one of us was about 2 minutes behind the rest of us, all watching the same stream, all through the in-player. Oh, that's a really nice finish. It's really clever feat.
1-0 to Wales. So, yeah, I'm just looking.
Tyler Roberts does really well there, actually, as well. It's good to see him getting a start.
I'm just seeing who's trying to mark him. It looks like that's not Ed, no.
It's a really smart finisher.
Oh, Ochoa's just kind of like fluorescent there, just thinking what.
I was going to ask you about him. Like, to me, he's one of those, like, in my head, he's amazing. He's one of those great goalkeepers who, being a football manager nerd and a FIFA nerd for a long time, it's like for years, it feels like forever. He's been like, I remember him as this great prospect on Football Manager, this like 19-year-old Mexican prodigy. There was him, and there was Kasper Schmeichel. Well, like these two like 19-year-old keepers that will go on to dominate the game forever. And Hugo Lloris as well, and Igor Akinfeev. And I don't know about Ochoa, what the crack is now. I don't even know where he's playing. I think last time I saw him playing, might have been at Rennes, was it? Somewhere in France?
He's at Club America now.
Oh, right, okay.
He's at Club America. So, yeah, he joined Club America in January, I think. Because to be honest, I follow him on Instagram. So he just came up with this random post, and it was a picture of him and Giovanni Dos Santos with the Club America shirts.
I saw Gio on there, but yeah, I didn't realise Ochoa was there.
Yeah, and literally every like Mexican fans' dream was to see Dos Santos and Ochoa come back to play in Mexico. But then obviously a lot of people have been disappointed because they've not been able to go and see them live. But Club America have they've spent quite a bit of money actually. They're trying to get themselves back up there in the whole CONCACAF Champions League kind of scenario where they want to start winning that again. But it's Ochoa to me is still a decent goalkeeper. I think we saw in the 2014 World Cup what he was capable of, and that Neymar save with the header.
Yes.
I'm not trying to sound over the top. It's not Gordon Banks, but it's near that where it's a header, and somehow he's kept it in on the line. And also the World Cup in 2018 against Germany, he made some saves in that game to keep it at 1-0. So,
so you remember 2 of his saves ever. That's all he's got. He did that one against Germany, that one against Neymar.
He's a legend. But it's just the fact that I always find it funny when you have, I mean, I'm sure you see it a lot, where you see players that no one talks about, and then people start talking about them on Twitter, and they're on trend just this one time in their career, and you just think, I saw him before all this shit.
Yeah. Very, very much so with that one. I don't know as well how fickle I am. I really like his hair. The first time I saw him, it's basically it was like going back 10 years. It's like I had him on Football Manager and so had a soft spot for him for that. And I saw him in real life the first time. I was like, man, that's really cool hair as well. And he had this little like bandana on at the same time. Just looks like a cool guy.
I think. Oh, hang on! There's a foul here, and is that Lozano on the ground against Chris Gunter's going up to the ref saying, "Look, it's my 100th cap. Let me off."
Yeah.
And he's saying, "I've got the same fluorescent colour as you, but on my armband." So yeah, Herving Lozano, it was just a trip. Knee on the groin. I'm sure he'll be fine.
Football in the groin would be worse, obviously. Poor Hans moment.
Why is it there's always one or two, millions of scenes from Simpsons where I don't care how many times I've seen it, I still laugh the same tone. Maybe I'm simple, but I love it.
No.
I think I remember the Confederations Cup in 2017, and it was Portugal versus Mexico, and me and Connor had the same thing on WhatsApp by sending each other the clip from Simpsons when it's like the greatest game of all time, Portugal versus Mexico, and I'm like, I love it how we were in sync with this.
I remember that one, and they just it looked to me, it just looked weird how they were animating the football, which is like the passes and stuff.
Yeah, and the way one of them just drags the ball with the feet or something like that.
Isn't there like corruption involved in that in the end or something like that? I'm sure it ends up being like a corrupt World Cup or something, or a corrupt match.
I can't remember. I think it was. All I remember is that Pele is meant to be there, and then Pele comes in. Then Lisa goes, "Hey, it's Pele," and then Pele goes, something about tin foil or something like that. You know, buy some tin foil, and then he literally just gets given a bag of money. Then he just disappears. But I think the controversial is that all the Americans watching the game are finding it really boring because Mexico or Portugal just passing the ball in a triangular line or whatever, and then they just start a riot. So that's how it happens, and then the whole town of Springfield just goes into a riot. It's the most random clip
I've not
ever.
seen that in many a year.
To be honest, I rewatched Simpsons too many times. That and The Office US too many times.
I did start having a little mini rewatch for The Simpsons when I first got Disney Plus, just like working my way through from like year dot, and I think I got up to about like the 3rd season, and then I've just lost track a little bit.
They've added a lot of things now, haven't they, on Disney Plus? I think they've added, I don't know what it's called, but they've added like this new company onto it that's got
Star,
loads of. That's it, Star.
That's all basically, which is nothing to do with Wales and Mexico, but quickly on that one, it's all a lot of the properties that they picked up when they assimilated 20th Century Fox. So when Disney purchased Fox, a majority of Fox assets.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff that is now on Star is programs that were put out by Fox. So it's like Lost, things like that, where it was like Fox were the brains behind them, like the Alien movies with 20th Century Fox, things like that.
Oh, the Alien movies.
It's like, so it's like a lot of Avatar. A lot of the Star stuff is the Fox stuff that Disney had bought the rights to.
I think it's funny because Lost is one of those where if someone says to me, there was someone who someone texted me the other day asking me about Lost, and they were like saying, I might start on Lost. No! Don't waste 6 fucking years.
That's kind of what I nearly did when I started watching The Simpsons, first of all, on on Disney Plus from the get-go. The first thing that I actually went to when Star came on was Lost, and I kind of weighed it up thinking like, because when I first watched it, I watched the first season, loved it.
First season is great. Yeah.
Like kind of naughtily, illegally, when I was a student in university, would download the episodes and watch them. And got about halfway through season 2 and was just like, this is a bit poo. And then couldn't find the episodes for a bit, and I just got out of the loop. And so I was like, right, maybe I go back and I start all again. Now it's on Star. And then I realised that every episode, there's like 6 seasons, I think it is, 23 episodes a season, and they're all like 50-ish minutes. And I just thought like, nah, man, cannot be arsed. So I didn't bother.
I think that's the... I think there was a new... I'm trying to think of a TV show that I'm trying to get into, but I don't know if I'm not really watching any at the moment.
Bates Motel. I said to anybody, watch Bates Motel. They finished a complete Bates Motel.
Bates Motel.
Yeah, it's a Psycho TV series. It's in like the movie Psycho. It's
right.
It's when it was first announced that they were doing like a prequel TV series to Psycho. It's like, sounds absolute dog shit. I have no interest in seeing that. Why are you fucking with this property?
And they absolutely changed your mind.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's only 5 seasons. I think it's 10 episodes a season. Nice and crisp.
That's nice. Yeah, nice and straight to the point.
And it had a very, very finite, definitive endpoint that it was getting to. Amazing TV show. I think it finished like 4 years ago now. Yeah. And like any chance I get, I'll always big it up. So watch that.
Did that have? It didn't have. I've forgotten his name, so it doesn't matter.
Freddie Highmore. If you're going to say Freddie Highmore, yes, it did.
He's not the Danish actor, is he?
No, he's a British actor, an English actor who was Charlie in The Last Charlie and Chocolate Factory, maybe.
Oh, wait, what? He was Charlie?
Yeah. So he's Norman Bates in this, who is the main guy, obviously, of Psycho. Yeah.
So he's still relatable then, this actor. I kept thinking, I always worried that he was one of those kind of kid actors who are big when they're kids and then they don't get casted ever again.
No, he's done that, and he's got a program on at the moment called The Good Doctor, which is in its like.
Oh, that's him.
For the 4th season, yes.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, of course. There we go.
Where
The Good Doctor. I've not seen it. No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I've just heard loads of good things about where I think he plays like he's autistic. I think he's supposed to be an autistic doctor that can kind of tap into his patients in ways that other people can't. But some of his methods are a bit extreme. I don't know. That's just all I get from the trailer.
I think it's. I think basically, as long as you've had enough of Casualty and you want something new, but to still do Doctors and Nurses, give The Good Doctor a go. Or if you're really desperate, try BBC's Doctors.
Oh God, man! When I was working for myself, self-employed, Doctors would always. That would be my sign to like get back to work, you dickhead. I'd take like a lunch break sort of thing, and I'd just be like, I don't know, watch the news or whatever, watch a bit of TV while I'm having something to eat at like at midday, and then Doctors would come on. It's like, right, no, that's it. So go away. Go back to my little office.
I knew when, like, because I had 4 days off from work the other week, and it was literally, I had to book them off before the end of April. And I was like, all right, fine, I'll have 4 days off. And you know you're bored because you're in lockdown, and you know there's nothing to do when you're watching Doctors on BBC on a Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah.
And it's like, what am I watching?
To be honest, if I found myself watching more than 5 minutes of it, I'd actually kind of get into it a little bit.
Yeah, like, no, that's the thing.
Now I need to see what happens with it.
It's like one of those songs that your outside self makes it look like you hate it, but deep down you're actually enjoying this. And in a weird way, I've watched a few episodes, and I will say this about Doctors. They do tackle some good issues that you learn from.
Yeah,
you think, fair enough. It's probably quite good TV for people to learn from, but who is? I mean, I guess it's been around for like 20 years, the show, so it must be doing okay on BBC. But yeah, again, Homes Under the Hammer's still on there, but with Dion Dublin.
Oh, yeah, I like a bit of Dion.
I know, I love Dion.
Dion is length.
I love Dion. He's such a. I think it was our mutual friend Adam. I think he said he met Dion Dublin once, or it might have been Joe. And I think they were with their dad, and they met Dion. Apparently, he was a genuine bloke, and I'm not surprised. He does seem like a really nice guy.
And former Manchester United as well for you.
Yeah, he did better elsewhere though, didn't he? I mean,
he did. But again, being old, this is weird. I've got the VHS somewhere still. Because my old man has a bit of a soft spot for Man United, so I have. It was just called Champions, the 92-93 season VHS, with like season review. And like when they signed him from Cambridge, I think it was.
Was it Cambridge?
I was thinking Norwich for a second, but no, I'm sure it was Cambridge that they got him from. And it was something like, it was like 2 million. It was at the time it was like a hefty transfer fee.
Yeah.
And then he got injured really early on, broke his leg, and was out for the season pretty much. And then it never quite happened. And the worst thing with Dion Dublin, yeah, the worst thing for him, because I remember he scored. Like he scored, it might have been Crystal Palace he scored against, but I remember it was because he became really good mates with Darren Ferguson, who would later go on to captain Wrexham.
Yeah.
And he was really good mates with Darren Ferguson on the pitch. They were celebrating together. That was when Darren Ferguson was getting games from United, and they still won the league. And yeah, with Dion, it was he got injured, broke his leg, was out for the season, and then because of that, Sir Alex Ferguson, or just Alex Ferguson at that time, went out and bought a certain Eric Cantona. So when Dion got back, it's like, yeah, sorry mate, we kind of got this French
French guy's all right. And even though he kicks people's asses, he's literally.
Dude, today the Wrexham game. Oh my goodness. I've shared it out on Twitter, a clip of it, if you happen to notice it later.
Let me have a look.
At Cultured Left Peg on the Twitter, for anyone watching. Of just Dior Angus, our striker, gets his head stamped on. It is absolutely vile because it's to be fair with the referee. I think obviously we're playing National League here, so you don't really get there is no VAR. So the referee just sees.
I've just seen it. Oh
yeah.
Oh.
yeah, head stamped on.
That's oh my, great camera work though. I mean,
we had an upgrade on that all of a sudden. Our streaming service, because I pay to watch every Wrexham game, obviously. Streaming home and away, and so you see other teams' streaming services.
I know,
and we have been dog shit. We've been probably the worst in the league for our streaming.
Oh really? I
we've
thought
been horrendous until all of a sudden about a month ago, after our takeover
Reynolds gave you some money.
Yeah, and all of a sudden then we had Bryn Law doing it. Bryn Law was doing we had.
Oh really?
We didn't even have post-match content or pre-match content or half-time content. So we literally, you tune in at like 10 to 3, and it'd just be a static camera from the Morrow stand looking at the pitch. And then about 2 minutes to 3, the commentator team would start talking, and we had this one camera that just swayed. We had no replays, we had no graphics. Like I said, we had no content at half time, which that's easy enough to do. That's basics.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do that from here to provide it. And you think you've got just speak to the players. I don't know, show highlights of the last game, something at half time.
It's not. I'll say this now about. I mean, I just do this from watch-alongs. It's only an hour and a half to 2 hours. You've got most of it being a football match. It's not that much required. It takes an hour or two to prep. That's easy for me to say. I'm on my own, but yeah.
I just think there's material, or show like archive content even like of years gone by, just something to fill 15 minutes at half time. Half time would be our commentators would go for a break, and that's it. We'd have nothing. You just have the static camera on the pitch, or there maybe be a solid graphic on, and then once it kicked off again, they come back. But no, in the last month or so, it's like our coverage now is really good. We have replays, but every other team had replays all season. Every other team had multiple camera angles, which we didn't. So we had a massive kick up the arse with that, thankfully. So we've got pre-match coverage. We got half-time content. We had an interview today with Carlos Edwards at half-time, one of the all-time Wrexham greats. And we have post-match interviews. And it's so refreshing to see. But with that challenge today, because watching the game live, and Joe Angus, who got 2 goals by that point in time, was on the hat-trick, was playing really well, goes through, and the striker him and the striker go down at first, you see that. And then he gets up straight away. Him and the defender go down straight away. But Angus gets up and straight away starts kicking off, like something's gone on here that we've missed. Like he seems really pissed off. And then you see the replay, and he gets booked. He got booked for it. Then you see the replay back, and it's like that guy's just stood on his head.
Yeah,
and he even gives him a look when he does it. As he stands there, he looks at him. It's not an accident.
It reminds me of when Van Persie and when Ashley Williams kicked the ball.
Yeah.
And I'm not. Of course, I don't think Williams meant it. I think it's just heat at the moment. I
don't know that.
Oh really?
No, I think he meant to do it, but I think it was because it was in the heat of the moment.
Heat of the moment.
I'm just gonna twat this, and if it hits him, I don't care.
Yeah. And I remember Fergie said, he could have killed him. And anything to do with your head, it scares me just thinking about it. You know what I mean? Just any head collisions you see in football. I mean, look at what we've seen this season. Jimenez, Patricio, all from the same team have had horrible head. I mean, Jimenez probably would have played tonight in this game. We only had to get on the M56 or something to Cardiff maybe, and then go back from Wolverhampton. But yeah, it's still 1-0 to Wales, and we've actually got some comments here, Andy. We've got Noah Davis saying 2-1 Wales, come on. We've got Ryan laughing, asking, are you doing the England game tomorrow? Probably not. We're doing the F1 race tomorrow, which is on at the same time, and it's so annoying.
You're not doing the England game? Wow, that surprised me.
I mean, I didn't do the San Marino game, but that's probably because we kind of knew San Marino were going to win.
No, now you sound like Gary Lineker. Do you see those comments that he thinks that after the San Marino game, he basically said that these games are a joke, they need to stop happening. These teams need to qualify to basically get the chance to qualify against England. I just kind of came across a bit like, come on, mate.
The thing is, though, I'll say this now. If you're going to say it, bring up an idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think, fuck it. I think scrap the seeding system. Unless, like, I don't know, obviously you have something for a World Cup winner, a European Championship winner, they get some sort of seeding advantage, or they just get a pass to the next tournament.
Yeah.
And as to the host nations, but I think if you're going to be all like, well, England are too big to play San Marino, okay, fuck it. Scrap the rankings. It's a completely random draw. England could get a group of San Marino, fucking Albania, Scotland and Poland. Or England could get France, Germany, Spain and the Netherlands.
And then we wouldn't get to the World Cup.
Yeah, exactly.
And then England fans would moan before, and then they get to this and they go, we didn't want this, but you kind of did.
Okay, it's an inconvenience for England to play San Marino and smash him, but for San Marino, for those players, that's like a life highlight for them to get the chance to play against. I don't fucking know whoever was playing for England the other night. I didn't watch the game because I don't care.
I didn't know. I didn't watch it, to be honest.
But yeah, for them to play against Ollie Watkins, I don't know, but you get the point. Or like in years gone by, to play against the Wayne Rooney for some random fellow from San Marino, that's a massive thing to share a picture of Wayne Rooney.
This is it, because I was talking to my dad about it the other night. My dad was kind of against against this whole thing of changing the system, and my dad said to them, well, these countries, or small countries as people would say, he'd say to me, they've got to play somewhere, they've got to play someone, even if England are. Oh, hang on, Mexico got. There's Arno.
Yeah, you're on a slight delay. Cause that's why I was distracted then, because I was watching Lozano kicking off a little bit.
With Gunter, yeah.
With Gunter and then with Hennessy as well. Oh, absolutely fair. I've got the replay. Yeah, that's it. Because the only reason he's kicking off on Gunter is because Gunter's having to go with him for going down a little bit easy, should we say?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised because Lozano. I don't know what Lozano's trying to get out of that. There's nothing there for him to even shout about.
I believe it's called a penalty, is what he's trying to get out of that. But yeah, there's absolutely no way that is.
If that was a penalty, I'm leaving. For football's sake.
That Mexico shirt is off now.
You'll just have to see my nipples.
Jesus.
So about
anyway, yeah. Any more comments?
Sorry, yeah.
Bringing it back to save it from your nipples.
Ivan Terziski, asking where can you watch the game? It's on S4C and Sky Sports. If you're in England, Emilio.
Or in Wales, because S4C is a Welsh channel, of course. So it's not just England.
He's in England's B. Do you remember that? Do you remember that bit?
Where's the leave button for Zoom, by the way? Let's
don't leave me. Don't leave me.
England.
Oh, I'm joking.
Yeah, if you're in the UK, you can watch it on Sky. I believe it's on here, Sky Sports Premier League, I think it is, or on S4C, or I'd imagine it'll be on a lot of the betting sites. If you remember of those betting sites, you'll have access to it. That's a good tackle.
That was a good tackle. I mean, Wayne Hennessy, I think he's a good goalkeeper. A lot of people are a bit hit and miss with Wayne Hennessy, but I like Ward as well. I really like Ward.
I really like Danny Ward. He's been like Danny
Wrexham
Ward's one of those players. Well, yeah, he's one of those players where he's been like one of those great hopes of Welsh football for years now. Where it's like, okay, Hennessy's number one, but Danny Ward, because obviously I don't know, maybe it's just because he's one of those great future Welsh players in North Wales, because as a Wrexham fan, he came through the Wrexham ranks before he then got signed by Liverpool, and so you're thinking like, this guy could go on to do something. Hennessy has been solid for us for years. I think everybody thought that once Danny Ward went to Liverpool as a kid, and then was all of a sudden a couple of years later became Liverpool's number 2, went on loan to Huddersfield, did amazing there when they got promoted, was pivotal in that success. And then you're thinking, right, okay, where's he go from here? Then he got his move to Leicester. And that was it's like 50 million, 60. It was a lot of money in that. Because I know Wrexham, I think it might be 12. Wrexham got a couple of million on that because of a sell-on percentage. So at that point, you're thinking, right, okay, he's coming to Leicester, he's going to be number one. Expecting big things. Maybe they're getting rid of Kasper. Kasper Schmeichel's still there now. Danny Ward has barely had a kick for Leicester in the 2-3 years he's been there. And so obviously you cannot play for. Well, it's hard to play for your national team, especially as a goalkeeper. There's only one position when you're not getting club football. And at that point in time, William Hennessy was getting. I know he's been out injured lately until recently, but at that point, Hennessy was playing for Crystal Palace most weeks. So
yeah,
it's
regular football is such a big opportunity.
And Danny Ward's now, I think he's like 26, 27.
Yeah.
And it's like you've got to start getting first-team football somewhere.
Sometimes it's worth to take a step back to try and get 2 steps forward. And
totally.
I find the one thing I learned from non-league football when I was helping out at Wrexham and Newtown was that there are so many players out there that you would never have heard of. I'm talking to the people who are watching us now, where, you know, even with your football manager system and all that, you will have so many footballers who you've never heard of, who have travelled half the country just to get a game in on a weekend for a team, maybe unpaid. To be honest, it doesn't matter. It's the fact that they have to do all this just to get some 90 minutes on the go while doing other commitments to keep their heads above water. So it just shows how hard it is. So even for people like Ward, yes, he's in an okay position, he's in a good position, but still the hunger to get yourself on that pitch week in, week out. And I believe every pundit that say it in the studio when they always say, you know, I really do miss being out there, because it really is. That is the moment you've been working for. So to anyone who go on and say footballers have it easy, really depends who you're talking about. But at the same time, it's called sheer determination and bloody hunger, I'll say that.
Yeah, I don't know with Danny Ward, maybe he thought that, because I think Kasper Schmeichel's like 34 or something like that. He's a bit older than
I think, let me check. I'll have a look for you. He was, when I last checked, because I remember he was linked to United again last summer. Yeah. I would love to see Kasper in a United shirt, just because his dad was there. But
greatest goalkeeper I've ever seen in my life, Peter Schmeichel.
Oh,
it's absolutely amazing.
I thought he was one of my favourite pundits as well when I was growing up. Then he quit Match of the Day, so I think he's in Denmark TV now, Danish TV.
He's one of those where he tends to turn up like on British TV when there's a World Cup on or something. He'll be one of like the random pundits, like him and Fabio Cannavaro or something. It's like, and I'll get in Desai.
Desai was great.
But like
2010 World Cup.
Yeah, with Danny Ward, I've just checked now, and he's 27 now. He'll be 28 later this year in June.
And Kasper is 34.
And so it's like, I don't know if he's gone there. Maybe he was given promises of like, okay, wait a season and then we'll be getting rid of Kasper at the end of the year. I don't know if that was part of it or whatever, or he's thought that Kasper's getting on. I don't know.
Shot wide. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just watching that myself. I don't know if Danny Ward's gone there with the belief that he was going to be number one at some point soon. But like it's like 3 years down the line now. 2018 he signed there, and he's coming up for 28. And you're thinking, I don't know. It's one thing to be like, if you want to be a backup goalkeeper, great. I was gutted when I thought he was somebody with a massive soft spot for the Dutch. I love Michel Vorm at Swansea. I thought he was brilliant.
I thought he was, in that Premier League season, he was awesome. And then he went to Tottenham.
Exactly, that's my point. I was a bit gutted seeing him go to Spurs, where he's going there to be number two. He's not going there to challenge for number one. He goes there knowing that he's a backup goalkeeper, and he's probably going to get paid maybe 50, 60 grand a week to do that.
Who was number one?
Hugo Lloris at that point.
It was Lloris. I kept thinking it might have been Brad Friedel, because I remember when Friedel was there, and maybe it was okay for when he was getting to that age to just not play every week, but I mean, I don't know what some people thought. I liked Brad Friedel. I thought he was in that.
Brad Friedel, very solid goalkeeper. Yeah.
Very reliable.
Was awful at Liverpool, which is quite brilliant to see. When he did play for Liverpool, he wasn't that great.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Then he went to Blackburn, and again, like you say about Danny Ward there at Leicester, Brad Friedel took a chance on himself. He was dropped by Liverpool, wasn't getting a game. I went, right, I'm going to go to Blackburn. I'm going to be number one there. I'm going to get games, see what I can do.
And what a move.
Exactly, yeah. Then he got his move to Spurs, and that's going back to the point with Danny Ward is it's one thing, Michelle Vaughan at like 32 going to Spurs to be number 2 and just to have that safety net for your family, to earn some money for doing that. It's like, but if you're happy to be number 2 and you're 27 years of age and you want to play international football, it's like, no, go out. You're not even like Danny Ward playing week in, week out for a championship team like he did when he was at Huddersfield would be number 1 for Wales all day long. Even when he was playing for Aberdeen on loan before that at Huddersfield, that was when he really started to catch the eye for the first time. It's just go out and take a chance of yourself. Play, as long as you're playing first team football, it's all in your power then what happens. But if you're just on the bench doing nothing, then, and especially when you've got an established number 1 ahead of you in a position where there's only one place in that team. It's not like there's 2 centre halves or there's 3 midfielders. Like, no, it's 1 goalkeeper. And this guy, Kasper Schmeichel, is a legend at the club who's won the league with them and who is so loved by fans. He's not going anywhere until he wants to go anywhere himself. So
I wouldn't be surprised if he retired at Leicester. I mean, who knows? There could be some random transfer out of nowhere, and it's too good to be true. Like Ryan Shaw crossed to. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, I have a feeling that De Gea could be gone this summer. I mean, I'll be gutted if he goes because I'm a big De Gea fan. A lot of people say he's past it, and I'm thinking, what do you mean he's past it? He's still a reliable goalkeeper. Dean Henderson, great goalkeeper, but someone's got to give. You can't keep them both. You can't keep. And poor Romero, the way he's been treated, it's kind of disgraceful. Disgraceful. I don't know if that must have been a Solskjaer decision, but. All I'd say is that here's a great scenario, whether or not Romero would stay. If De Gea does go, get Romero back in, number 2. You've got a great, reliable number 2, and then you've got Dean Henderson. And then you've got Lee Grant earning another 40 grand a week. Can't go wrong.
Well, I guess that's it. Every team, every big Premier League team has to have that random third keeper who is kind of...
Scott Carson.
Yeah, exactly. Scott Carson, Stuart Taylor, they're names that come to mind, where the keepers that have been there and played a few games, and if the worst happens and somehow all your first other 2 goalkeepers get injured, you know that, okay, it's not just some rookie, I guess, some 16-year-old kid. But the Henderson one, obviously he's made a few mistakes.
Yeah.
He has played, but... Oh, shit. It's one of those where... Being a goalkeeper, I think, well, you need that consistency of games. If a keeper comes in for the odd game here or there, there's going to be mistakes. You're playing with a unit that, you're training with this unit in training, but it's a different scenario altogether, especially when there's fans there. Obviously, there's not been in the last year, but especially when there's fans there where... Yeah, that's what I was watching a second ago. How is that a foul against Keeper Moore?
When you said, oh shit, I thought Mexico had scored. It went all over the place. Mexico couldn't actually get anyone behind it, but a contact from one of the Welsh defenders, and then it's gone straight to the hands of Hennessy. But 1-0 still to Wales, about 5 minutes to go till half time. We've had I think, actually, going back to the whole goalkeeper thing, I bet Scott Carson's one of those in the background, or Joe Hart in the background in these changing rooms, just going, did I ever tell you about that save I made against Ronaldo? Yes!
It'll be Joe Hart, be like, remember that one game against Barcelona? It's like, yes, mate, we do.
Do you remember my Head and Shoulders? Do you remember my Head and Shoulders advert? Yes.
Oh my God! I'd forgot they even existed.
I know, it was so bad. It was so bad.
See, Joe Hart was one where I never particularly rated him. As in, he was good. I just... that summed up that nicely.
I love Andy's, looking into the future for me, kind of, right, this is going to happen. Wales have got it now. It's on the left-hand side. There's 2 in the box. He's going to go alone. And it's a strike. You could see what he was trying to do, couldn't you, Levitt?
that was my that's disappointing.
Don't you always...
Joe Hart, I always thought...
No, go on.
Oh, God, Jamie, sorry.
No, go on, mate.
See, Joe Hart, I always thought he's a good goalkeeper.
He was, yeah. At Birmingham
not
as well.
Not as great as he thought. It was... Well, I remember seeing him at Shrewsbury for playing for Wrexham, where there was lots of abuse. He was only playing about 20 or 19, because that's where he came through, was at Shrewsbury.
And he got
he got hammered by the Wrexham top end. There was him, and there was, oh my God, what's the other guy? John Ruddy as well.
John Ruddy. He was at Crew Alex, I remember.
Exactly, and he ended up coming on loan to Wrexham as well. Years after we'd given him dogs abuse, he came on loan to us briefly. I think that might be the year we got relegated.
Did he still get the same abuse?
He did. No, he did. That was it. He
Yeah,
didn't
that sounds about right.
He had one game where he's dog shit and the fans were ripping into him, and he threw a water bottle at the fans. We were away at someone. Yeah. But yeah, Joe Hart, good goalkeeper, but not that great world class. If you think of like top teams that have won Premier Leagues back to back or done big things in Europe, not that City did do big things in Europe at that point really, but you think of like a top class goalkeeper, or even if you don't like him, they're good goalkeepers. Like never a massive fan of James Lemon, but when Arsenal were doing really well, he was part of that team. Before that, David Seaman. Man United had Peter Schmeichel, Chelsea had Peter Cech. Now you've got Ederson. Now you've got Alisson. You think of like Real Madrid, Casillas. I mean, Manchester City, when they were winning Premier League titles, I still never thought that the goalkeeper was that great. It's like, yeah, Joe Hart was good, but not, I guess, a little bit in a way. Like Victor Valdez at Barcelona, where I always thought that Barcelona team were great. They didn't need a goalkeeper though.
They didn't need
Victor Valdez wasn't. Victor Valdez was all right. He was average.
I'll never forget Valdez going to United, and I remember me and Christopher responding. Shot straight at Hennessy there from Rodriguez. That was a good shot. But I remember he missed a bit there under his chin, the beard. But
you wish you had that much.
After I'll go to Amazon, buy it from the joke shop. But I remember, when Valdez signed for United, and me and Christopher were just like, well, we don't want Valdez as De Gea's potential replacement. The fuck. And then
also,
obviously,
if he went like with Man United when he went there, it was like, well, yeah, he's number 2, of course he is. Whereas, like literally a month prior, he was number 1 for Barcelona for 10 years. But, if he went anywhere else, he's a number 2 for any other top team. It's just not that good. They just didn't really need a goalkeeper.
And then I remember I think it was the Swansea game, where there was one game where he made like 2 big mistakes, and it was just like, what did Van Gaal see in this? I mean, I know you.
I was thinking, was it a Van Gaal sign? In my head, I was Van Gaal, but I'm not sure.
I don't know, because I mean, it's hard to decide anymore. I feel like when we go for a play that's big and all that and known, but it's past it, I feel like it's an Ed Woodward signing. Or I'll say this now about Ed Woodward business. He's fucking great at that. You know, marketing, branding, all that crap. He's done a good job, but the recruitment side, it's just dog shit. But hopefully the director of football we've got now will change all that with Dan Fletcher.
Yeah, I forgot all about that. The Fletcher's there now. That's one thing that I remember reading and thinking, that's a bit random, and then I forgot all about it until now. Like, oh yeah, of course he's there.
Yeah, he was watching in the stands the other day at the Leicester game, and I was saying to my dad, I won't mind Fletcher in midfield right now.
It's a strange with that, because I thought if they were going to go with that director of football model,
they'd get one.
I was thinking, have a word with Edwin van der Sar. You know?
Yeah, I know, but I've read quite a lot about that, and Van der Sar doesn't want to leave Amsterdam. He's always been close to family, and apparently before he left United, before he retired, apparently he was ready to retire the year before he left United. Because apparently he had words with Fergie, because I think his wife had cancer.
Yeah, she did. I remember that.
And I think Edwin's always been a home family kind of guy. I mean, look, he's a legend. If he had left a year before, then so be it. He was a legend at Man United in his 6 years there. But yeah, I don't think he'll ever come to United just because of Amsterdam is his home in a way. I think he always wanted to go back to Ajax and do his bit. And he's done a fantastic job. And I love watching him on Instagram as well. He always shares his journeys with the club, and he even sent a nice letter to United fans when they got Van der Beek from him. So
I did see that. Yeah,
that was nice, but sadly it's not gone to plan so far. But you know, people go on and criticise Van der Beek, and I'm thinking, well, he's hardly played, so how can we even talk about it? It's so easy to criticise.
I'm a massive fan of him, but I don't know. To me, it's like I don't know where he fits in that United team.
No, I don't.
Really. That's the problem.
I really don't.
You sign them. It's almost like it reminds me of one of those football manager signings where you sign them because they're available and they're really good, but you've already got 6 players who can play that position, and it's like, well, right, okay, well, I've got this really good player now, but I cannot get him in my team. I don't know. Wales 1-0 up at half time. There we go, coming in.
Oh yeah, half time 1-0.
But I think with Van der Sar, you look at that, because he was part of that, God man, one of my favourite teams in world football ever at all, that Ajax side. That he was all part
95.
Of. He came through with Frank de Boer, Ron de Boer, Michael Reisiger, Danny Blind as captain, who was the old figurehead with Frank Rijkaard. You had Mark Overmars, you had Finidi George, Richard Witzke on the bench, Jari Litmanen, Patrick Kluivert, Wanku Kanu. Oh man, Peter Van Vossen, Fred Grimm as
do you need a moment? Do you need a moment, Andy?
I do. I get carried away talking about this team. Edgar Davids and Clarence Seedorf in there, just to throw those two in there as well.
Oh, it's so sad that they didn't win any major tournaments with those players though, as a team. You know, national team. No, national team. Yeah.
I was going to say, like, the fucking European
Cup. Yeah, the European Cup. Yeah. You know, the last time kids probably won it. Well, no, sorry, Man United. But
18-year-old Patrick Kluivert coming off the bench to score the winner against the classic Milan side.
Yeah.
Amazing. But no, that Dutch side should have won something, man. Ridiculous. But no, I think to go with Van der Sar, I think he came through as an Amsterdam lad with those players, and then the sad reality is that the Eredivisie, even back then, was nowhere near as big as a lot of the other leagues in the world, and so many of those players migrated away straight away after that one season. Well, after that European Cup success, the players started to drip through the head, and it was Van der Sar going to Juventus. And so you think if you go to Juventus, you move away from Amsterdam, you're an Amsterdam homeboy, home bird even, or homeboy, whatever. But if you move away at say 22, and then you're in Italy, and then you spend another however many years, 10 years at Fulham and Man United in England, then and if you do miss home, then of course when a chance comes up and your career's done, the first thing you're doing is moving back to Amsterdam and probably never want to leave again. So I guess that's the thing. Although Mark Overmars seems to be kind of on the table to move somewhere as a director of football, so that could have been another option. No Man United ties there though, of course.
No, I think this is the thing. I think I'd always want someone that's had ties with the club to do it, to do the job.
I suppose like Van der Sar, we talk about how great a job Van der Sar's done at Ajax. What qualifications did he have at Ajax before he went there, apart from just being a footballer for Ajax? And I guess Fletcher. You look at Darren Fletcher, people are thinking like, why are they giving it to Darren Fletcher? And in that case, he's got the exact same experience as Van der Sar. He knows the club.
This is the thing. Like people, there's some United fans out there that are happy to criticise the club every time they do one little thing, and it's the fact that they criticise the appointments. I'm thinking, fucking hell, they've only just started. They haven't even they haven't even started. They've just announced their bloody roles, and they haven't. Calm down. And I was thinking to myself, we've got no history of having anyone in this job, so what pressures are they really on? That, you know, they're there to start it. Can they do a good job? We'll find out. And you're absolutely right. Fletcher is exactly like Van der Sar, a legend to a club.
Career there, wasn't it, as well? Wasn't it? I can't think of him leaving. That was his whole career was Man United.
No, he played for Stoke and West Brom, didn't he?
Was it West Ham?
West Brom, then Stoke. And then I think he retired after that. Yeah. Well, the Stoke one didn't last long. I think he was only there for 2 seasons. Or was it 1 season? But I don't think he was even starting in the lineup. I might be wrong. But yeah, it's the same scenario. It's just, as you say, what's the experience? I played football for 20 years. Okay, yeah, you're in. That's probably what happened with him and Ed Woodward.
You have it like where, especially with social media being what it is these days, where as soon as a club signs a player, it's like, oh, what are we doing signing him? He's going to be shit. But then you'll have the dickheads will always throw in like the little caveat as a backtrack at the end going, oh my God, he's going to be horrendous for us. He's going to be dog shit. What are we doing signing him? I hope I'm proven wrong. So it's like, well, I was hoping. Like,
it's that's the one thing I've learned from the last 12 months of lockdown. I'll be honest, regardless of what's happened in the last 12 months, I've learned you learn things from lockdown. You know, you appreciate things. You try new things. All sorts happen. You know, all of us as a human race have had to try out new things. For example, I've tried to complete my sticker albums again. It's a major problem, Andy. But the one thing I've learned is that the world is so toxic online, isn't it? And I knew it. We all knew that beforehand, but especially in the last 12 months, you know, I do think there's a fear of some people not wanted to post anything anymore because they worry that they'll just get loads of people jumping on their back. And actually, it's quite relevant this because Thierry Henry posted yesterday, didn't he, that he's planning to leave social media until it gets better. And you know, I think good for him. Someone like him could easily be offered, you know, advertising on social media to sponsor things, but instead he's just gone, nah, screw it. I'm going to leave this social media world and just crack on with things. And don't know. What's your take? Because I know you tweet a lot, Andy. Do you ever?
I tweet abuse to everybody. That's all I tweet.
Oh, he does it to me every day on WhatsApp, guys. But to be honest, he's all right.
No, well, to be fair, in the last 12 months, I've completely stopped using Facebook and using Instagram. I still have my accounts there, but I don't bother because Twitter. I'm in the habit of Twitter because of work, especially for these days. I'm not self-employed as of the last couple of months, but beforehand, for the last nearly 10 years, I've been self-employed. So. And a lot of that is like the more people see things, the more I get paid. So a lot of that was me on Twitter all the time sharing out stuff. But I know I still like Twitter. It's okay. I found myself blocking more people. I don't normally. I never really blocked anybody until this year, but it's just like, God, this person's talking shit. I'll just block them or mute or whatever.
I'm exactly the same.
Yeah,
completely the same.
The Facebook thing, I don't do. Instagram,
yeah,
I love an Instagram. I did Instagram in October. I'd been on it for about 4 months. So I did it in October for 31 Days of Horror to show what horror films you watch.
I did like that. Yeah, I liked that. That was good. I remember following that.
As soon as October ended, though, as soon as it was October 31st,
that was it.
Well, as soon as it was November the 1st, like, nope, that's it. Not been on it since.
Wow.
But yeah, it's more like you look at I don't know. It's like it seems like barely a day goes by at the moment where you don't get some report of some footballer to make back to football being like abused, racially abused on that's like
it's
on
horrible.
whatever social media platforms, and it's like Jesus Christ, man! It's like how backwards are we, and how how unaccountable are people that people can say these things, and you only hear say I don't know, probably one in every 5 cases, maybe 1 in every 10 cases, where you actually hear like so and so's been spoken to by the police or arrested or cautioned or whatever.
Yeah.
The rest of it is all just anonymous because
you can get away with it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how it works, but I'd imagine my knowledge of technology and computers or social media is create an account, use a new email address. Maybe if you really do not want to get located, you use a VPN. Say you're in Norway or Mexico. They're playing right now, 1-0 down, before I make that relevant, or Wales. But surely you could just do all that and then make the tweet. And if you really want to, it catches people's eyes. You start to get responses at people hating at you, and then you go, haha, my work is done. Delete the account, piss off, and then do it again somewhere else. So my problem is that I don't know how you can get out. How people criticize Twitter and all that and say they must do more. But in all fairness, if they can't think of an idea, we certainly can't. So
I think they can. I think
maybe they can. They can.
Like,
yeah.
I think what it comes down to is the ideas in place would slow down the process of people registering. Which, if you're Twitter, you want as many people as you can registered.
I think there should be like identity stuff going on.
Exactly. Yeah, you should have to send in some form
passport,
of ID, like just
photo. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Or I mean, it takes literally 2 minutes from the user's point of view to take a picture of your passport and send it to Twitter, sort of thing.
And we're all at home now, so we all have webcams.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that. It's more the hassle for which it shouldn't be a hassle, but it is a hassle. The hassle for the social media companies themselves of like, if we go for like more stringent verification processes, then it's going to take the company longer to sift through all this shit, and they're not going to be asked in that way. They want to just like things as quick and as streamlined as possible. And until something changes with that, it's just going to be the same. And it's not just football. I saw some. I have no interest in basketball, but I saw some basketball player last week.
Oh, in the NBA, was it?
Yeah, someone in the NBA, and it was a bunch of direct messages on Twitter that were just all racial abuse of stuff. It's just like, what? And it was because he fucked up some throw in basketball.
Oh, for God's sake!
And that's what I mean. It's like that's the fine margins now. Like somebody goes through in football, if they go 1-on-1. I know Anthony Martial's had stick on.
I know.
I say stick. He's had racist abuse on Twitter, and it's like Anthony Martial could go through 1-on-1 with a goalkeeper, and he puts it wide, the keeper saves it, and that's it. You got some dickhead. Then this is Twitter to send whatever full of whatever.
If I was a footballer today and I was a target for that, I actually wouldn't have social media because that's just going to hurt you. You know, it's going to hurt you mentally, I think, and I think that your performance will be affected by it. If I was a football manager, I'd probably actually tell my players, don't have it. It's not any good for you.
I get that approach, but then I suppose the other approach to that is like, then you're letting the knobheads win sort of thing, where it shouldn't be a case of you shouldn't be scared to use Twitter because of you're going to get abuse or whatever, or racist abuse. There should be a case of you should be able to use Twitter without getting that abuse.
Freedom of speech in a way, you know,
I
I fear that as well, to be honest, in a way. But that's for another day. We could
we're going deep here.
No. As in, I always post a few things. Some things people won't agree with, but it's the way. It doesn't bother me, but it's the way some people react to you in a nasty way, and you think, hang on, I'm just saying it. I'm not like, you know, we're friends here. We're not, you know, it's nothing to, and you know, that's how I see it. Where I do fear of saying stuff now, because it's like, what's right or what's wrong? You know, I'm just sharing something where maybe I need more info or an opinion. I don't know.
I think Marcus Rashford's a really good example of it, where obviously he's been getting loads of racist abuse. He's been getting,
and he's just ignored it completely.
Exactly, and he's using. If he came off Twitter, he couldn't do half the promote he does for all the good work he's been doing over the last 12 months. And so that's his thing. Is like, okay, it's horrendous the abuse he gets, but to him, it's more. I guess the pros outweighs the negatives. Where I've got these idiots which I can try and block out, and by holding them off, I can use this platform to share the stories of the food banks, of challenging the government, of trying to feed kids. But like, by all means, I mean, doesn't mean he should be getting the abuse he gets, but he's just seeing like the
jealousy. It's jealousy from these people who throw this stuff at Rashford, I feel.
It's jealousy. Anyway. It's stupid. I mean, I've been at football games in person where it's happened. You
hear
jealousy,
it. Yeah, you always
like,
hear it.
It's that stupid, or I don't know. I can't explain it. And to be honest, I've been at games with a club I will not name because it might throw them under a bus a bit. But actually, fuck it. No, I've been at Wrexham games. I'll say it. My own club. I've been at Wrexham games where there's been racist abuse at players. Oh, and this is going back years. And there's been complaints made to stewards, and it's just like, well, it's too much of a hassle to go and speak to that person. So it's just like, let it go. And it was only, what was it? I've lost track of time because of lockdown, but must be 2 years ago now, where a group of Wrexham fans got banned from the racecourse ground, our home ground,
right.
for racist abuse. And these were people who have been known by anyone that's gone to a Wrexham game going back since I first started going 20 odd years ago. I've been going for like 26, 27 years. And even after a couple of years, when you get to an age where you're aware of what's going on around you, these people then were making these comments back then in the 90s. And it took until 20 fucking years later for them finally to get banned. And that was only because it was in such a public way. It was, I remember very, very well, we were playing Halifax round about Christmas, early January, just after Christmas. And me and a couple of mates had done the director's box, which you tend to do about once a year. It's like a little treat. And we're doing that. And we were right over the dugout and right over where these people sat. And they were giving, normally you give them the benefit of the doubt, but there was a black substitute running up and down for Halifax, just warming up in the first half. And you could see them shouting at him. And normally you think like, oh, maybe they're just, I don't know, shouting whatever. But knowing the people that they are, you're thinking like, nah, that's not going to be just... No. Normal, like, oh, you're going to be shit today. There's going to be a bit more to it. And then as it went on, that fella came on in like, 20 minutes left to go, scored the winner in the last minute, ran over to where the fans were and just giving it like, there you go. And rightly so, more power to him. They give him awful racist abuse. And then because of that, they started effing and jeffing more at him with all these racist words.
Oh, God.
And this is right by the dugout, right by the cameras. In the last minute of the game, well, injury time, and then some fans, some people ran down to try and get at, because their coaches turned around and like, what the fuck are you doing? This is well out of order to our fans. And then some of our fans started trying to kick off on the coaches, and there's stewards involved, there's police involved. And then as the fans make their way back to the seats, you see some other fans were like, what are you doing, you fucking idiots? So then there was a proper fist fight between Wrexham fans then, between racists and anti-racists. And it's just like, what the fuck is going on? And because of that, finally, these people who, the 20 odd years I've been going, have been giving fucking awful racist abuse to players, finally they got a ban. But it's something that have been complained about for so many years.
So long.
So many stewards,
it's not odd, is it, for it to be that long?
Swept under the carpet.
I mean, I mean, I've been a steward.
And the player,
but...
random note, the player ended up signing for us at the beginning of this season. The player who got all the abuse, Anthony Jeffrey. Yeah, more power to him. I wouldn't have. Anthony Jeffrey. He's left us now. He's only here for a few months. But I wouldn't have touched his with a barge ball after that.
Jesus. How Robson Carney's come on. Sorry, Johan Cruyff has just come on for Wales, which is good to see. We've got some more comments. Jamie Burgoyne says, handsome Andrew with a love heart emoji. And I think
Cheers,
you'll get a delightful text from Andy.
I thought he's going to bed, unless he's watching this in bed, and maybe I daren't think.
You know what he's thinking of? He's thinking of Ochoa. Anyway, or probably Greg Draper. Oh, anyway, the second half's just about to begin. I better get my match clock on. Greg Draper was once. Well, I don't know if he's ever been good, to be honest, but he plays for.
I've never seen him play, but from what Burgoyne says, he was kind of original Ronaldo sort of class. But I don't know if I believe that. Totally.
I mean, it's Jamie Burgoyne. if that's Ronaldo level, I'd like him to see Ronaldo play, because I can't even begin to imagine what level that might be. So 1-0, and it was actually Levitt who has come off for Howell Robson, Carney, with that terrible shot over the bar before half-time. But here come Wales. They're attacking from left to right, Mexico from right to left. We've got a question in from Raf of Glendor, Cambia, saying, is this our B team? What do you think, Andy? Most half.
Yeah, I'd say about half. I'd say it's not our regular full strength starting lineup, and that was, I don't think that was ever going to be the case. I think it was kind of always set out that this being a friendly was going to be more a case of spoon that. Yeah, it's going to be more a case of.
Oh, and you screwed that as well.
Yeah, that was me booting a couple of bottles that are on by my feet. Yeah, I think today was always going to be a case of just giving some game time to those players in the squad who didn't play in the last game, that maybe aren't going to be your regular starters for the. You're seeing that shot now.
That was like, yes, Iron Robin kind of no.
Yeah, I think for Wales, I mean, I'll be honest, I absolutely love Chris Gunter, but if this was our first 11, he probably doesn't get in this.
Yeah,
I think the fact that Danny Ward started in the last game against Belgium, I don't think Hennessy gets a game right now. But then I think that's more down to Hennessy having been out injured for so long with Palace, as to who's going to be number one going forward. But I think Kiefer Moore probably starts. There's one or two in there, but yeah, I think obviously you're missing your heavy hitters, you're missing your Gareth Bale, you're missing your Ramsey. Joe Allen went off early in the last game.
Yeah, that didn't look good when I saw that the other day.
No, but I think if to say it's a B team is maybe a little bit unfair, but there's definitely a few players here that wouldn't start under normal circumstances. I think if everybody's fit and healthy.
Of course, folks, if you are enjoying the stream, do subscribe. We're at 542 at the moment, which it's gone crazy. It's gone crazy, the numbers, Andy, in the last week or so, especially during that Wales nightmare of an end to their Six Nations Championship.
Yeah.
But France got a taste of their own medicine last night, with Scotland scoring an 82nd minute try to win.
Depleted Scotland side as well. Fair play to them.
Yeah, that was the first time Scotland have beaten France in Paris in the Six Nations. I think 5 nations they've beaten them in Paris, but not in the Six Nations era. So, and actually, here's another fact for you: Wales have never beaten Mexico in the 4 meetings that they've played each other. So that's a fact for you.
That could be about to change.
I hope not. Hector Herrera's going to take the free kick. Hector Herrera is so good. A lot of people don't really talk about Herrera because he doesn't play for the big teams, but he's certainly one of my favourite players for Mexico. His free kick there was okay, but it was just too far for his fellow Mexicans to follow it. And Andres Guardado's playing tonight as well. So, anyone who's in that stadium tonight, I think they've got themselves a good game in front of them.
Yeah, with Guardado, it's one of those where, bizarrely, as somebody that only supports Wrexham, I have I say more than a soft spot. I've got a bit of a love for Ajax, and because of that, I'm not a massive fan of PSV or Feyenoord.
Really,
Andres? Yeah, I don't know. It's ingrained in me, this rivalry now, even though I've never even been to Amsterdam.
Have you not? Oh, it's a beautiful city.
I hate flying, even though it's like a 45-minute flight. I hate flying.
You're just like my brother. He hates it. I don't know if you do it, but my brother does it where he drinks 1 or 2 beers, and then he gets on the flight. I don't know if that would.
The last time I hate to go abroad. I hate it because of the flying.
Really?
I've not been abroad probably maybe probably about 7 years until I went to Barcelona 2 or 3 years ago.
And that's when you had your 3 games in 2 weeks, wasn't it? Or a week?
It was. I went 3 stadiums.
I've got his diary.
Yeah, it was 3 stadiums in 3 days in 3 different countries. It was the Camp Nou, Barcelona's ground, on a Friday.
Oh, amazing.
For a tour of that, then flew back to watch Wrexham on the Saturday at the racecourse ground in Wales, and then on the Sunday, a mate of mine had a spare ticket for Man United versus Swansea at Old Trafford.
Oh.
So yeah, it was 3 grounds in 3 days, which was nuts. But no, for that, I ended up going to the doctor and getting some magic pills to take while I'm flying.
Really?
Yeah. Just like something to chill me out. I'm my girlfriend, bless her, because she apparently is fine with flying. This is the first time we've flown, and because I've been like freaking the fuck out about it beforehand. When we got on the plane, she started to get really nervous, and I was chilled out as fuck because of these tablets. So she panicked all the way to Barcelona and all the way back.
Were you like, are we in a car?
No, I paid. It was only with EasyJet sort of thing, but I paid like an extra 20 quid or whatever it was to get like at the front, so we had some leg room. So
the front's the best.
I'm like 6'2", so I'm quite tall. So I was just like legs stretched out. I'd taken these tablets. I'd had a beer, only one, so not really supposed to drink with these tablets. But I'd had that, so I was really chilled out. And then on my phone, I was just watching the Netflix documentary about Juventus all the way to Barcelona.
Oh, I've not seen that yet. I've been.
Yeah, she was just gripping onto me, scared shitless. Yeah. So tell your brother, tell Chris to go to the doctors before he goes flying next time.
When she was grabbing onto your leg or arm or whatever, when she was panicking, was she like, what's happening in the documentary? Oh, Buffon, what a guy! Just what a save! Did you see that save? My God!
They might sign Ronaldo soon. And I think as well, to be fair, it probably helped as well because it's in Italian, so it's subtitles, so you have to concentrate. So you don't really block out what's around you. You block out that you're on a plane.
Yes, it's weird because I was watching the it was on Amazon. What's it called? The series where they follow teams. I can't remember what it's called.
All or Nothing.
They did it for Brazil. And
really? I didn't know that.
Oh, it's great.
The football team, Brazil.
Yeah. And this is during the time when Neymar had rape allegations against him. So it's all behind the scenes of. Yeah, I agree with that.
I completely agree with that. In general,
oh no, I thought you were just shaking your hand, saying yeah, shake your hand. Completely agree. But it's really good. I've not finished it yet, but like the other night I was going to watch it, but I was half asleep, and because they all speak in Portuguese and it's all subtitled, I literally watched the first 5 minutes and I went, no, I need to watch this when I can actually focus, or I'm going to miss some good things here. Anyone that's looking for sport documentaries, it's very good, and it's in build up to when they won Copa America in 2019. So of course Copa America is probably the only thing they can win these days. Brazil, well, let's be honest, Brazil have been disappointing.
This is coming from the England fan who, every few years it's coming home, and then nothing comes home apart from a bunch of fucking losers.
What's he saying? CONCACAF Gold Cup winners over here. What's he saying? No, I know what you mean, but Brazil's a lot higher standard than England.
And Brazil have what, 5 World Cups as well in their back pocket to call on.
Yeah,
and however many Copa Americas.
And if only Baggio had a World Cup. Of course, the Baggio film.
Whoa, no, he's making. Oh!
I don't know why that just was hilarious. I'm quite glad that distracted you. I was worried I was going to get beaten up. But the
I got done by the camera angle. You'll see it now. You'll probably see it now.
Let's have a look. Oh, hang on. Yeah, it's on the right wing. It comes into the box. That would have been a beautiful goal if he found the corner of the net there. Oh, that would have been really good. But they've done it again, Wales. They can get it walking into the box with these crosses.
Oh, I thought it was one of those little back heel flicks, but I got done by the camera, and in the end, it obviously came back out towards fucking me, rather than towards the goal.
Straight to a true after all that. How Robson Kanu. He does have a bit of improv in him. There's no doubt about that.
Improv, like a stand-up comedian.
Yeah, but it's funny business in that box. He said see you later to Fellaini and co.
There's no see here. Fucking hell, Jesus. Brutal jokes. That reminds me of the Robbie Savage interview the day after that game, actually.
He was so pissed.
It's brilliant. Clearly, I think it was him and John Hartson. And
on the sideline.
Yeah, clearly not been to bed, being interviewed on BBC News at like 9 in the morning. And it was just Robbie Savage dishevelled, in the same clothes he had on the night before. And then Wayne Hennessy. That's a solid there. I'm
just seeing it now.
I probably shouldn't comment.
That's all right.
To see Robbie Savage talk about like we did there. We had three defenders around him. So one for a hot dog, one for a cup of tea, one for a pie.
Oh,
just brilliant.
How's he kept that out? Oh,
I don't think. Well, I'm watching the replay now. I don't think even Hennessy knows. He kind of looks at his foot like, have I done that?
I think it literally is like hits his leg and he goes, don't go in, don't go in, don't go in. Yeah, or I don't know. Normally that would just go in.
Oh, what a save! Sorry, Jamie, I'm spoiling this again.
No, it's all right.
Spoiling that again, sorry.
Oh, there's Arno.
No, really
how's that even? I mean, it's the way it's hit his foot, and you'd think it'd still hit his foot like it's a speed bump and still go in, not fly over the crossbar.
Save. I think it's Lozano again.
Let's have a look. No. Oh yeah, there's Lozano. Oh, how's he saved that one?
Yeah, that's.
It is offside, but even so, he didn't know. So it still had to be saved, and. I sometimes joke about goalkeepers when people say, "Oh, he got a clean sheet." Yeah, but in terms of disallowed goals, he hasn't got a clean sheet. And then people look at me the other way. Then I'm thinking, "Yeah, all right, I'll leave. See you later."
This is why you live on the streets now.
Mate, that would have been the dream. Instead, I'm in a ditch with great Wi-Fi,
and a printer,
and a Wi-Fi. It's amazing.
Yeah,
and
great
a cat.
Wi-Fi and a printer.
Oh no, she's not here. What was I going to say? Oh, Connor Potter's got in touch. He says, "Hello, Brennan Johnson is the future." Thoughts?
I've hardly seen him play. I've seen him a couple of times. I say, "Oh,
is he the one from Forest?"
Exactly.
Because I've seen it in the group chat. That's the only reason why I know.
I've only seen him play, but I can't think when it was when I was speaking to Connor about it. I'm trying to think whether it was over text or in person or on the game or something. But we ended up talking about him because he was telling me about him and about he's the future.
Oh, sorry.
And he was talking about how his dad used to play for Forest, and oh my God, what's his name? Johnson. Oh my God. Jeez, man, this lockdown is killing my brain cells. He used to be at Man United.
You used to be cool.
No. I used to be cool, yeah. Oh my God, that's annoying. Anyway, but we looked into his parentage anyway because, holy fuck, that's really, really going to annoy me. I've got a video of him, this Johnson fella, and Terry Cook at Man United.
Terry Cook?
Yeah, and he went on to play for Wrexham and Man City, who were big youth plus. Not Damien Johnson. Holy fuck! And he went on to play in the Championship for Forest and score a few goals. Played international for I think Jamaica. Anyway, but anyway, that's where Corin got on to sort of Corin. I know a Corin.
I'm actually with Connor on an F1 watch along tomorrow. I'll call him Corin tomorrow.
Please do. Please. I thought it'd be Jack would be on it tomorrow.
Jack as well. There's four of us. There's four of us tomorrow. Yeah.
Who's the fourth wheel? Hey.
Do you remember Harry? Fourth wheel.
Yes.
Yeah. Harry. He'll be there as well. So looking forward to it.
I'm sure Harry's a Liverpool fan, though, isn't he?
Yes, but he is a Wrexham fan as well. So
why does it have to be two? Why can't it just be like, I'm a Wrexham fan?
I know.
There's so many Wrexham fans that have that.
I would love to know because it is a scenario of Wrexham or Liverpool if they played together. Like there was this kid at school who was a Real Madrid fan and a United fan, and this was actually at the time when United played Real Madrid in 2003, and it was Beckham's game against Madrid before he joined them. And I just remember...
Oh, when he came off the bench and scored two.
Quality. My brother went to that game, the lucky bastard. I would love to have gone to that.
I remember him scoring like a totally not Beckham goal where he picks up the ball.
Yeah.
And he beats about three players and then drills it. It's like, he can beat a man as well. Where's this been?
And then Ronaldo's finish outside the box. Oh, my God. And that was when people said he didn't have pace anymore. I'm like, what? I remember... Like this kid, I think his name was Ben. I can't remember. And I remember asking him, "Well, who do you support then? Real Madrid or Man United? This is the one where you've got to decide." And then he said, "Well, Real Madrid are winning at the moment." Like, I think, "Oh, fuck you! I don't like you kind of people." I can't be doing with that. I hate football. No, I mean, I hate two-faced fans.
Well, I suppose it's easy for you to say when you've been a Man United fan and they've done so well for so long.
Well, yeah,
like that's your one team. It's
Andy,
like Man United.
And if United don't win anything ever again, I can say I've been spoiled.
You can
massively spoiled.
You can be like James Burgoyne and go and support someone else, Mr. Chelsea as he was at one point in time.
Oh yeah, he did actually admit that. We're not just saying that. He did admit that.
Yeah. Mine's just always been.
I think he's fallen asleep.
Wrexham. Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
A happy sleep. Yeah, but no, to be honest, there are so many Wrexham fans where it's like, oh yeah, I support Wrexham, but I also support normally Liverpool or Man United or Everton or Chelsea or Man City. It's like, and part of me is always a little bit jealous because, like, it's me. I'm stuck supporting the team in the National League, and like, oh, but you've also got Liverpool in your back pocket. So if Wrexham doing shit, oh, it's all right. We've got the Premier League winners or the European Cup winners. Son of a gun.
Exactly. I mean, I'll be honest. I can't say anything. Here I am wearing a Mexico shirt, and I'm from England. But someone asked me the question. No one has ever asked me the question. I don't know why I'm bringing it up because now this is going to be hard. If Mexico or England play each other, who do you support? I'd obviously go for England, but I just have a lot of love for Mexican football. I think it's great.
Yeah.
But there's a double substitution here for Mexico. Actually, there was an interesting article to do with Mexico's rivals, USA, the other night. I can't remember which website it was. And it was a look at, could the USA be World Cup contenders in 2026, which, to be honest, I kind of laughed at the headline because I thought, hang on a minute. No.
Whoa. Again, to bring it back, Mr. It's coming home. You're not laughing at anybody. USA have got as good a chance of England.
But do you ever think it's just the same old thing with USA? Where
I think it's the same old thing with England.
Well, yeah. But this is what
every tournament.
But this is what I mean. Like, the only great thing about this US team is that a lot of them are in Europe. Right, great. Mm-hmm. They're getting the actual experience that they need instead of the MLS system, which, quite frankly, is shit. I like the MLS, but it's not. I'm not going to say it's great. But Mexico do the same. They've sent so many players abroad. It's done okay, but I just think, sadly, you're from a country which I just don't think it's going to work. I think if these players were representing another country, maybe, but there's something that just tells me that, yet again, USA will have this standard and they'll set a mark to go, we're going to get here, we're going to do it with these lot, let's make it happen. And that's because we're also the hosts of the next World Cup, whenever it is, 2026. We'll see what happens. I mean, all I'd say is that I'm looking forward to that World Cup because I think for football fans it's quite a treat. You could go to Mexico, USA and Canada as a road trip, but we'll see. I mean, I can't say it won't work. I can't see it working. But there was this article about it the other day, and I'm thinking, calm the fuck down. It's Mexico will probably beat USA in the quarterfinals or something because they always do.
You're sounding like most people who aren't England fans when they talk about England.
Yeah,
that's exactly how they sound.
Yeah.
You like the press and even the players and the management themselves labelled a golden generation. Like you're talking about USA are pinpointing like we're going to win this tournament at this time with these players. That's what England did essentially by saying this is our goal.
Well, look at Belgium.
Belgium are doing the same. But Belgium are number one in the world. Belgium is still the number one ranked team in the world, I guess. So at least Nico Williams has come out the corner right there. And with England, it's like there's a whole "It's Coming Home" that came out in Euro '96 when you were the hosts, and it's and it's
nearly worked.
They were great to watch that tournament. To be fair, even for a biased Welsh person, they were great to watch that tournament. I don't know. I don't know how it works in other countries, but and I know it's not necessarily always the England players, but the English press make it so that every tournament is the tournament that they're going to win. It's nailed on, and all it takes is one or two fucking wins over someone like Panama to get everybody carried away that this is going to be it. And with the USA, they've got this. They're kind of laser focused on 2026,
which is realistic. It's a very good idea. It's a very good idea.
Like you said, it's like there's so many times that the USA have said how about this is going to be the time sort of thing. This is our generation of players coming through. Whether you go back to Kobe Jones, Roy Wegerle, Alexi Lalas, that sort of side, like 94, and again 1994 was obviously in the USA. That was going to be big things, and it was going to be the start of a big uptake in soccer over there, and it took its time. But I suppose it's like you look at the infancy of the football structure in America, the relative infancy to the rest of the major footballing nations. But the other side of it is, okay, this we've heard it so many times that this is going to be it. America's changing. They're going to have this great soccer side.
This is exactly what I'm saying.
It's got to change at some point, and that's like for years. I remember seeing that this great Spain team where it was always Spain were the underachievers all the time. Spain never did anything. They always had so much hype,
especially in 2000.
So many great players, and it just never happened. It would never live up to the hype. And then they go and win back-to-back European Championships and the World Cup finally at some point. Same with the Netherlands. The Netherlands have been so long, so hyped, and so much potential, and it's never quite clicked, or since '88. So I suppose maybe sometimes these things change, and maybe 2026 is it for the States.
I mean, not because McKennie looks like the Weekend singer, but I
have no idea what that is or who that is. Or
I forgot his name.
I know Wilson McKennie. I don't know this Weekend fella.
I'm trying to remember his name. Have you ever heard the song Blinding Lights?
That's
him. Yeah, that's him.
That through wrestling. I know that through wrestling. Yeah.
Ah, yeah. To be honest, it's probably been played in every sporting event you can think of. He actually played at Super Bowl, so.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I say played. He performed. He didn't play in the game. He didn't represent the Buccaneers or the Chiefs. But I forgot what my point is now. It's gone.
Something to do with Wilson McKennie in the Weekend. And the USA.
He's not going to be Blinding Lights. I don't know what I'm saying. I've seen McKennie play. I like him, but we'll see. We'll see in 5 years is a long time from now. And I get the look. I'll say this now about France and the World Cup team, as in the Rugby World Cup. They've been building their team for the last 2-3 years, and they've come so close to their first Six Nations title in the last 11 years. But I think they're building because they're hosting the next World Cup, and I think it's the same with the USA, where it's like, we've got to use the advantage here that we've got the home advantage. Simple as that.
That's right.
In a weird way, England could look at that for this year's Euros, with a lot of the games being in England, but that's not going to happen. I'm sorry. This England squad is just, yes, great on paper, but shit altogether.
Is it great on paper? I don't know if it is.
Individually,
I don't know. If I think who's world class, I don't really know on that England side.
I mean, we'll say the obvious ones. Kane,
if he's fit. That's the thing. With
if
Harry
he's
Kane,
fit, yeah.
He's always due like one big or two big ankle injuries a season.
What about Sancho?
You
see, I'm not sure. I can't put my finger on it.
I'm not sure, Mister. I got a Man United shirt with Sancho on the back.
Oh, damn it! He's seen it.
I'm not sure. Yes, I have seen it, and that's legit for anyone watching.
I have actually saved the clip as well.
So, with Sancho, I think Sancho, he's not world class right now. He could be. He's still again. That's the thing. Is there's so much pressure on him now, and he's 20, 21. It's just like. I think at players at that age, you could have given him some leeway. I think he could go on to be world class, but right now, no. Harry Kane, when he's fit, when he's firing, is world class, but he relies. You can't build a team around Harry Kane in one sense, in the sense of there are those world class players that can win you a game on their own. Harry Kane is not that. He's world class as a number 9, as a finisher, but he needs other players to feed him the ball. That's the thing. And if Jesus, he could be playing. If Harry Kane's playing with me, he's not going to be scoring 40 goals a season, 30 goals a season. No. But if he's playing with quality players, top level players, then chances are he can get 30 goals a season. So I think with Kane, he's world class, but he's that sort of world class where he needs other people around him to be good for him to be world class. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, like Son.
Son's world class. Son can win a game on his own. Harry Kane can't.
Oh, Son's so good.
Yep.
He's so good. I was walking the dog the other day, and I always have these thoughts in my head sometimes of what would I do if I was United. I was like, sign Son. Get some pace in the team.
I don't even know how much that would take. It's like if Harry Kane's been talked about for like 140, to me, Son's more valuable than Harry Kane.
Son's 200.
Yeah. I think Daniel Levy would want more for Kane than Son, but realistically for me, I'm valuing Son.
I think Kane's only worth more because it's in England.
Yeah.
In a way, there's always that value of you're buying an English player.
I like how you've casually skirted over that lack of world-class players in that England squad, though. You got to Harry Kane, and then the subject went. It went to Sancho, and that was it.
Connor Porter, Luke Tanner, Jamie Burgoyne.
I think Connor's declared for Wales already, I'm afraid.
What? It didn't tell. He actually was actually, Connor, I apologise if I'm wrong, but he was born in Wrexham, I think.
I always liked him more than you. Yeah,
There's
a reason.
All right. I was born in Mexico City. I couldn't do anything about it.
Well, that England team, you look at it like, who is world class there? Like, I'm just looking from the back. I don't think there's. I think Nick Pope's a really good goalkeeper. Dean Henderson's a good goalkeeper who could be a great goalkeeper.
I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any shame or criticism if he picks one or the other. You know what I mean? As in, like, as in.
Oh, just don't pick Jordan Pickford is my thing.
Yeah.
Like, you've got better options there.
Like Nick Pope, I think deserves it more because he's had a lot more regular football.
Yeah.
But then I'd say Dean Henderson because he's had less games and he's got the same amount of clean sheets as Nick Pope this season. So.
He is playing for Manchester United, not Burnley. So that's the other caveat to that.
Yeah, of course. You know, there is that. But then you've got Lindelof in your defence. So, anyway, but then you've got Tokalski, who I quite like. But he's English, Tokalski.
He's got a cap or two. I'm sure he's got.
He has got one. Yeah, I think he played in the
Nations.
Nations.
Ben Meesh had a fucking cap by now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Ben Mee's world class, but I'm just thinking when you look at England centre halves for the last 6, 7 years.
But isn't it funny how you see one or two players that no one talks about yet? If they've got the right people around them, not invincible, but it works. And me and my dad always stress about chemistry in football, and I still believe in chemistry. You can get all the best players in the world, Real Madrid, and it still won't work. You know? I mean, Galacticos. I guess it worked, but it was a lot of money. It didn't. Luis Figo is the biggest one. I actually read more about Figo the other day about that transfer, and I didn't realise how much of a gamble Prez did to get him. With the whole thing of, okay, if we don't get him, I'll pay for your season tickets or something like that. And I'm thinking, oh my god,
that's going hard.
That was some transfer.
It was, but I don't know. Obviously, he did really well at Real Madrid, but I also thought of Figo, just as someone who watched him at that point in time, I also thought he was better at Barcelona. I think a lot of it was because he was like, at that point in time, he was the main man. Whereas when he went to, as you said, then went to the Galacticos, you're one of many main men, sort of thing. You're
Zidane, not going to be Beckham, the main poster.
Ronaldo, you've got Raul, you've got Thomas fucking Gravison.
Jonathan Woodgate.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. Well, I'd say at that point in time, that was a Real Madrid where, like, even the defenders were main men. When you look at Sergio Ramos, Iker Casillas, they're all like that. In any other team, Iker Casillas would be the top player, the star man, the big boss. And he was from Madrid, but there was also another 7 or 8 players that were also the top man in the big boss.
The 2002-03 season, I think it was Iker Casillas in goal. And that's when I first watched him. I just couldn't believe some of the saves he made. But Iker Casillas was one of those where, for me, he was probably the goalkeeper of the 2000s. Some would say Buffon. There's no shame in arguing about this. You know, they're both very good goalkeepers.
Thereabouts.
Exactly. And of course, you know, Andrew Pirlo, who's with me right now, would say his mate Buffon. But, you know, there's no shame in that.
Edwin van der Sar. Throw Van der Sar in the mix as well.
Oh, I can't believe he was at Fulham. My mate James.
From Juventus.
From Juventus,
Juventus, Man United, Fulham.
Yeah, Ajax, Juventus, Fulham, Man United. Okay. But it's, again, you have to take 2 steps back to go. One foot. Oh, ignore me. I'm drunk. I'm not.
You ain't even drinking.
No, I haven't got anything. Look, it's an empty glass.
I've got a whiskey here now.
Oh, what whiskey?
Jameson's.
Nice. You know what? I still don't think I've ever had a Jameson's.
It's nice. It's not bad.
I've got Hague Club in the cupboard, but yeah.
See, Hague Club. That brings it back to David Beckham. With the Hague Club
it does.
Is
he the owner?
No, he was like the main when
investor.
It got launched. Probably shit, man. I'm trying to think how long.
He was the poster boy, wasn't he? I remember.
Yeah, he was like the poster boy. He was the main. They spent all their marketing money basically on David Beckham, and it's like.
And you would, wouldn't you? Really?
I think it was like might have been like so-called designed by Beckham sort of thing. And so I saw that as a whiskey drinker. It was like fuck off. And I like David Beckham. It's like fuck off. Am I buying it? It's like if I saw a David Beckham aftershave, I'm not going to think, oh, I'm going to get that. It's like David Beckham whiskey, bollocks to that. And then me and a mate of mine were had about 50 minutes to kill by Fat Cat in Wrexham, a bar that is now closed, but was closed even before the pandemic. And it was like, just grab a whiskey in here, and then we'll scoot off. I think we're getting a train or a bus somewhere. And it was like, all they had was this Hay Club. It's like, go on then, two doubles of that. And it was delightful. And to be fair, anytime I see it now, I always get a really nice tipple, Beckham or not. And I do like David Beckham.
Oh, Bex is the best. I mean, even now, he's probably the sexiest man in the world. You know, it's my brother actually. Well, he says his Mrs. Laura got him the calendar, but I think he bought the calendar, and it was a David Beckham calendar in his kitchen. I'm thinking, you know, Chris, you can always come out if you want. You just have to tell us, and there's no shame. But anyway, that's where we are. We've quarter of an hour to go. He's done it to many. He's done it to many. Nearly did it to me. Wales 1, Mexico 0. We're quarter of an hour to go. It's been a bit of a. It's been quiet, this game, hasn't it, Andy? I mean, we've had some chances from Lozano especially, and Hal Robson-Kanu early on in the second half, but it's been Mexico just haven't shown much tonight, have they?
I'll be honest, I don't think they've shown anything.
No.
And I quite like Mexico. I was looking for maybe some sort of entertaining game, maybe end-to-end, where both teams just thinking, it's a friendly, let's go for it.
Yeah.
And Mexico, well, their best chance was an offside chance, I think. I'd say that was probably the best chance for me, was the Lozano one, which came just after the Lozano one, where Hennessy saved both of them. And
long range effort, and it's just gone past.
Mate, no. When I was talking, I was watching the replay of that because in my head, I was thinking, here he goes, he's going to get excited. I think with Mexico, they've disappointed. I think the second half's been very subdued, where there's not really been much going on. But to be honest, from a Wales point of view, Wales are 1-0 up. It's down to Mexico to chasing the game. And I don't think they've had those one or two chances. Well, they've had one chance really, if you want to discount the offside one. And they've like that. Like then they've had sighters from distance, which
they've had.
I used to do that all day. I just sit in midfield and shoot from silly distance. It doesn't mean I was very good or effective.
Hey, it worked. There's a lot of midfielders.
To be honest,
worked for De Bruyne the other night.
I thought you were going to talk about my Aberystwyth University League goal of the season medal that I've got somewhere for a 35-yard right foot volley.
I need to see this.
It's somewhere in my basement. I've still got the medal somewhere. Well, the trophy.
Nice.
And one of my mates, my best mate, who was also in Aberystwyth with me, my best mate since we were kids, and he's a really good footballer. And he'd gone off at that point for this game, and our keeper he did his knee ligament and went off injured, and it was my best mate that drove him to the hospital. And we brought a sub-keeper on and carried on. And then while he was gone, I scored this goal that I should not have scored at all.
Was it a Vinny moment? Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
It was. I'm known for shooting from silly distances, but I'm left-footed, completely left-footed, featured left leg on Twitter. And this was just a right foot volley, and it swerved and went in the far corner. And it was just like, holy shit, that's gone in. And everybody else was a bit like, holy shit. And then we had a big celebration. And when my mate got back from being at the hospital, he just didn't believe it. He still doesn't believe it to this day that I scored that. Like, I've got a fucking trophy for it, you dick. And it was like a voted for trophy for goal of the season. Still didn't believe it.
Oh,
anyway.
Brilliant.
Shooting from distance is all Mexico really done in the last little while.
But this is it. Like, I don't think they've even been able to get into the box. No. I'd love to know the percentages. Oh, Jonathan Dos Santos is coming on. Jonathan Dos Santos.
Started, I'll be honest. Unless maybe they're just like resting some players.
Well, Jorge Sanchez as well normally starts. So that's an interesting one.
Maybe it's a Mexico B team as well as a Wales B team.
Maybe, yeah. No, there are some in there that are B team. I mean, I feel sorry for Corona.
Herrera, yeah.
Get out. I feel sorry for Corona. You know why? I'd change your name after the last 12 months, mate. But
yeah. Every time I've seen him for Porto, I've been well impressed.
Have you? I've not seen him. I've not watched Porto, so I've not. Sorry, no. I watched Porto the other week.
Twice, 3 times. But no, this was going back like a year or so, and he caught my eye when he's playing as a right winger. But then he seemed to drop in as a right back as the game went on. I think they might make some changes. But he just was entertaining to watch because it was just his control and he had like a trick in him. Which if you're like supposedly a defensive winger or a fullback, you shouldn't be having tricks in you. But he wasn't. He was well entertaining to watch.
I think that Porto game against Juventus the other week. What a game for Porto. My mate Miguel, who's from Portugal. He's a big FC Porto fan. His Facebook went mad after that game. He was literally like thinking 2004, it's happening again. I'm like, oh, here we go. But who knows? You know, they've got Chelsea next in the Champions League, and the Champions League this year is very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens there. Look, if Man City win it, they win it. Well done to them. They've got to break the lock at some point, but we'll see in the next couple of months. Obviously, I hope we don't see it. Jonathan, sorry, go on.
I was just saying, speaking of breaking the lock, I'm just going to have to pop off for a second because I think I need to break the seal. If that's all okay.
Go ahead, my friend. Go ahead.
I will hide myself views. It says on here.
What? What's that?
I thought I was pressing some really, really clever.
No, don't turn the camera off. because then the picture goes all over the place on my bloody stream.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, unless you have to do it there, feel free.
No, I think I've knackered my Zoom now completely.
Oh, I can still see you.
Yeah, no, I pressed something thinking it was going
Bale's coming on.
Change the. Wow, that surprised me actually.
Yeah, I thought Bale would. I don't know why Bale wants to.
We're back, and I am gone.
And he is gone. So yeah, Jonathan Dos Santos actually scored the winning goal for Mexico when they won the CONCACAF Gold Cup against the USA back in 2019. That was in extra time, I think it was. It was a very, very much of a goal fest, really. Yeah. It ended goalless after 90 minutes. So 9 minutes to go. We've got some more messages. We'll read them in a minute. Do subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the stream. If you're new to the channel, we do a lot of live watch-alongs for football. We're doing the F1 race tomorrow, which is the Bahrain Grand Prix. Max Verstappen at pole position for the opening race of the season. So do join us at 4 p.m. tomorrow. We also do a bit of tennis and some rugby as well, especially last night with the Six Nations, with Scotland getting their first ever win in Paris in the Six Nations. What a win that was on the 82nd minute of a game. Absolutely fantastic to watch. So Gareth Bale's just come on for Wales. Connor says there's no squad tick at the bottom. Yes, don't worry, that's me. I tell you the truth, we started streaming and I just couldn't be bothered. So apologies about that. We've got Raf of Glyndor Cambio saying, you ain't the only one with one team. I support Bala Town in the Welsh Premier League. No one else. Actually, Bala Town have been quite a good team recently. Oh, there's a bit of a pushing and shoving going on with Lozano and one of the Welsh players. I'm thinking that's Norrington Davies. Yep, it is. Norrington Davies there. And Lozano's had it all night, really. He's had quite a few moments in this game where he's been moaning with the referee and the Welsh players just because it's not really gone his way tonight. A couple of good saves from Wayne Hennessy to deny Mexico an equaliser. At this rate, I think Wales are going to get their first ever win over Mexico. They've only had 4 games between each other, and their most competitive game was in the 1958 World Cup, which ended in a draw. Oh, Bale pushed Lozano out of the way. Poor Lozano. And Andrew's camera's just gone down. Oh, that's funny. I think Andrew's dead. Yeah, Andrew's dead. So it's going to be a throw for Liverpool. Yeah, Bala Town have been a good team. They won the Welsh Cup in 2017 by beating the New Saints. For a moment, Andrew, I thought your house was getting robbed.
No, I'm not my webcam as I was going for.
There it is. There it is. Oh, mate, I'm trying to look for a copy for that. It was 25 quid on Amazon. Not Amazon.
Really?
eBay. Which I think it's still. I should just buy it. I'd like to read it because I'm sure there's a lot of good stories in it.
Me too. It's really, really interesting. I'm looking all at it now. Look at it's got the Mexico.
Look at it. Look at it. He's rubbing it in. I mean, there's an article about Blanco in there which I really want to read. Blanco was one of my favourites.
Yes. And I guess he's one of your favourites too. Rafael Marquez.
The king of cartel football.
There's a quote here from Pep Guardiola. Rafa is one of the most underrated players I've ever worked with. An excellent professional who gives his all in every game. Messi would often say how hard he is to beat.
Marquez, in a weird way, reminded me of Giggs, as in not the same. I know this is going to sound weird, but
right,
they're players that you can rely on when it matters. And I always looked at Giggs was one who, you know, I'm not saying he was a leader, but Giggs was just that kind of player where, in the Atlas kit, he went back to Atlas before he retired.
And you're saying this isn't worth 25 quid? Wow.
Oh, fuck it. I'll buy it. You see, I'll say this now about Andy. Andy is my go-to guy when it comes to purchasing because he has got a great taste in a lot of things. And look at that. Oh, my God. Look at all those kits. I love the fact that he would also wear the home kit if they were playing in the away kit. You know, I love that because Club America do it now. They've got their third kit, which I don't know if you've seen it. I've ordered one. I'm just waiting for it to arrive. It's this black and white kind of symbolic kind of shirt. It's Google it. Club America third kit, and Ochoa wears it when they're playing in the home shirt, for example. So
nice.
It's a beautiful shirt.
Just seen Johnny Williams go off for Wales, injured again by the looks of it.
How old is Johnny Williams?
He's only about 28, 29 maybe.
He looks so much older, doesn't he?
He's been around in the Wales squad since he's probably about 17. He kind of came through really young, and he's one of those where, again, he's Johnny Esther, the Welsh Johnny Esther. He's always shown so much ability when he's fit, but the big thing with Johnny Williams is he's never fit, unfortunately.
Roth of Glyn Comier said, we rustled up some lads from down the pub, and he also says, how does an Englishman know about Bala? I was at the Welsh Cup final when Bala beat TNS. In 2017.
Yeah, you should big up your. This is where you drop in all your coverage that you've done of the Welsh leagues.
I love the Welsh leagues. Yeah,
Spell it.
It's one of those things with the Welsh league where obviously if I wasn't covering the games as a job, I probably wouldn't touch them. But I'm not that I'm saying I don't like the Welsh Prem, but it's made me. I'll say this now about the Welsh Premier League. It makes you more open to other competitions in the sport. I think it makes you appreciate, you know, smaller countries. You know, you look at Iceland. Oh,
sorry, mate.
Chicharito. Chicharito.
Pull that down now.
You've sold it.
I ruined you there. It's not just sold.
I mean, I have to go get a paper towel. I mean, that's how bad it's got. But yeah, It's like the Icelandic League. I follow that now and again on Bet365 by watching the games. The only reason why is because those pitches are next to massive rock mountains, and it's like this is like the best football pitches ever in terms of the surroundings. But no, I love the Welsh Prem. I mean, the only thing that's annoying is that only TNS and kind of Connors Key Nomads are the teams that have got the budget, they've got the funding, and they've got that kind of full-time status where they can compete at the top of the league.
I think that's, even though it's only those two, I think that's, to me, that's still really refreshing because for so long it was just TNS. So to see Nomads finally crack that TNS mountain, it was
and
like,
they won the league, didn't they, last year?
Exactly. What I mean.
Which, okay, they didn't win it in that way, but the Welsh Premier League came to a decision to say that in terms of how the table stands, we're going to end it like that, and fair enough.
Because when you look at the disparity in the league, I mean, obviously, TNS winning the league, fair play to them for the years that they won it. But
yeah.
I remember reading the stat where TNA, that's a wrestling company, or it was.
It used
TNS,
to
be. when TNS, when they qualified for the Champions League, or for even just like, obviously for the qualification stages, the money they got from that covered their whole wage bill for the year.
Yeah.
And so that's like how much a step ahead of everybody else they were. And so every year they won it, it was just further and further that gap, and it's impossible for anybody to compete, which is why to me it was so, like I said, refreshing to see Nomads, anybody break it really, but Nomads, great, cool.
Yeah,
I'd love for it to have been Aberystwyth Town.
Town. I've been to Abertown's ground, love it.
I played on it.
Oh yeah. I remember you saying.
Great ground. But it was because I wasn't too arsed about the Welsh Premier League at all, the Welsh football, the Cymru Alliance even. Even though I'm a Wrexham fan, it was until I went to Aberystwyth University in the early 2000s where the games I couldn't get back for Wrexham, or Wrexham were away, because it's like a 4-hour train journey from Aberystwyth to Wrexham, and that's on a good day because of all the delays and changes that can happen. And so if I couldn't get to the Wrexham game or Wrexham away, I'd go and watch Abertown at Park Avenue ground, and it was just like, it was, and even better for me at that time as a Wrexham fan, it was a lot of the old Wrexham players were in that league, especially for Nomads. There was a lot of players like Wayne Phillips and Lee Jones and Martin Chalk, Paul Mazzarella, Steve Watkin even, who were basically players I'd grown up watching, but now at the tail end of their career, playing in the Welsh Premier.
Well, that's it, yeah. I mean, it still happens now. It still happens now. I mean, there's been a lot of Wrexham. I mean, I forgot his name. He played for Bala recently.
Ex-Wrexham?
Yeah.
Mark Jones, Danny Williams?
No, left back.
Oh, Neil Ashton.
Neil Ashton, yes.
Yeah, he was at Kevin Druids until...
Kevin Druids, sorry, that was it.
Yeah, that was it. No, top man, actually. But he formally retired the end of last season. That was his last season as captain at Druids. And then he got kind of convinced to come out of retirement now for Llandudno. Who I think they're whatever the Cymru Alliance used to be. I think they're obviously the division below.
Yeah, they've called it now Cumbria North, and then they've done Cumbria South. So then obviously it makes more sense doing it that way. I quite like the way FA Wales structured that a bit more, rebranded basically.
And it's like I love the fan bases of these teams as well, though. Like it's just as in the Welsh Prem.
Especially Carnarvon. Carnarvon's got a big fan base.
The one that blew my mind as a student that went to watch Aberystwyth Town initially purely to see old Wrexham players, and then got into it myself, have a few Abertown shirts. The thing that blew my mind was when Bangor came down to play Aber, and it was just like it was
carnage.
It was like I mean, it sounds like I don't know hyperbolic to say, but it sounds massively over the top. But it was like kind of like Football Factory sort of stuff. It was like your proper boys, as it would be, you see on TV where it's all kicking off, but it's Aberystwyth Town and Bangor, maybe like 200 people between them, but it's just these people just beating the shit out of each other.
I mean, I remember being at Carnarvon versus TNS, and Carnarvon went 2-0 up in this Welsh Cup game, and at the time Carnarvon were in the league below, and it was a great goal from that. It was a run in from the halfway line, then just smashed into the roof of the net, and then here I am doing the data and all that, and all I could hear was just a big bang. And I looked to behind the goal on my right-hand side, and the Carnarvon fans had collapsed the wall. A brick wall just collapsed. And I just was like, only in the Welsh Prem. Yeah. And I thought, that's what I like about the Welsh Prem. It's one of those things where it's so exclusive, where only you and a few others can really talk about it. If you mention it to someone else, people go, what the hell is it? And it's like, you know, it's one of those.
Saying like £2 to get in. £2 a student card to get in. £2. That was
still, I think it's still that now, like £5 to £8, something like that to get in.
Like you could just walk around the whole ground.
Obviously all the freedom.
Fans, but yeah, that's it. You had your freedom on that.
There was a man and a dog.
Yeah, literally there was. And there was I think we call it the club bar where you go for a pint at half time,
and the players would probably be there.
That's it, exactly. Well, not half time, but yeah, some would probably work, judging by the performances. But you go after the game, and you'd see all the players just go in there, and the chairman from the home and away teams, and it was they're just normal blokes, and there'd be like a little spread on with like a few like sandwiches and pork pies, and the players would go in there and just have it afterwards. And
I love it. Yeah.
To him. And
it's a great community.
It was brilliant. I loved it. Even the last time I went back down to Aberystwyth was 2 years ago. And even then, me and my mate that were going back, we timed it so that we get to see an Aberystwyth town game. And these days it's 4G or 3G or whatever the fuck. It's not just grass.
Yeah.
It was just cool to go back there, and you appreciate, like you talk about like with Iceland about the settings. You appreciate the setting of it where it's just there's a nice river next to it. It's in the middle of you've got hills all around you where you sat on the ground.
Especially Newtown and Kefin Druids, the great surroundings. I was just about to say, yeah, a bit like Druids, where Druids the rock, where you've just got the massive rock, the massive mountain there next to you. It's weird, like little settings like that. I remember the first Druids game I went to, which was only a couple of years ago, and sitting outside after the game, I'd gone on my Todd, I'd gone on the bus there, watched the game. I was sat, I had like an hour to kill, so it's like I'll get a pint after the game in the bar, and then sat outside. It was a sunny day, sat outside there, all the players going past. You just got this really nice the view of the rock itself, just with a cold pint of, I think it was Moretti. I love Moretti.
It was just like really nice and sunny. It just like ticked a load of the right boxes.
It's just great. Yeah. It's just, I think as well. I mean, I went to a Kefin Druids game back in October, and they played Cardiff Met, and it was obviously you go there, you have to have your temperature checked and all that because of the COVID restrictions. And I said to the steward, "It's shit, isn't it? This?" And he goes, it's just not the same, is it? I'm like, no. I mean, I know this club doesn't get, your thousands in each week, but even just with the 200 on a Friday night, it's fucking quality. Yeah. And that was the one thing. I was still, don't get me wrong, I was privileged to be at a game and be able to watch it in front of me, but deep down, I mean, I was even speaking to Craig Harrison. He was standing next to me during the game because he was getting ready for Connors Key's game with Keffingeorge the week after. And that's what I love about it. You know these people. It's not like the Premier League. You look up to them and you don't really know you don't really know them. They're idolised. So
I think even if you don't know them, if you see them, you just go like, "Oh, you're right. How's it going?" They'll speak to you because they're just normal people. Or like with Abbott, Wales have won 1-0. Full time.
Yeah. Oh, damn it.
Everybody's giving lots of love to Chris Gunter.
Oh, bless him, Chris Gunter. Well, I mean, good for him. He's got a win on his 100th cap. Would have been amazing if he somehow scored as well, but he gets the win. And yeah, so it's ended Wales 1, Mexico 0. So Mexico, they played well against Costa Rica the other night with a 3-goal win, but tonight they've not been able to find any goals. And even Bale's having a picture of Gunter with Wayne Hennessy. The Euro 2016 legends for Wales, all three of them right there.
There was a great picture I saw this morning actually of Gunter and Bale from, it looked like, Jesus Christ, it looked like maybe about 2009-10 because of Bale. Bale looks so young
and so different.
The hair for a start, but he looked like how he did when I remember him first coming through for Wales in under Toshak, and we had the home shirt with a massive white V on it, and he scored a free kick when we got beat 6-2, 7-2, 5-2 or something by Slovenia or Slovakia. Anyway, it reminded me of that point in time, and it was Bale stood there, look at the camera, and Gunter just squatting down next to a river, and he's just skimming stones, nice and simple. No airs, no graces, just killing time, skimming stones. It's just a really cool, moment in time where it is. I am going to turn this up so I can listen to this interview.
Oh, he's going to listen to the interview. We've got some comments in our chat page. Hang on, let me just turn my ambience
Hopefully
background
off. All positivity.
Well,
because of the internet, obviously.
Luke Tanner says, me and my girlfriend are considering travelling to that World Cup in America in 2026. Marry her first. Just make sure you get the
Jesus Christ, that's a bit of pressure to put on the fella.
Well, 5 years from now, come on. They've been out for a while, I think. Come on, Luke, you got to get married, so that she has to be part of the agreement to go to that World Cup with you. Just make sure. That's all I'm saying. But I'll see you there. I'd love to go. I'm looking forward to Qatar next year, but at the same time, my beliefs on human rights is the reason why I don't want it to go ahead. So it's really annoying. But yeah, I've read. I mean, there was this great Gary Neville documentary where he went to Qatar with Sky Sports, and he'd speak to some of the builders that have been working on these stadiums. Imagine the heat, imagine the hours, the pressure, and the physicality. To build these stadiums against the clock as well. A lot of them came from Africa and all that. To basically be able to pay for their family back where their families are from. And there were so many empty promises. So it's all just so dodgy as hell. I mean, I don't know where to even start from watching that documentary. But I'm not saying Qatar bought the FIFA World Cup, but they're not doing the right things to get this World Cup right now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they kind of did by the World Cup.
Yeah.
But to be fair, it sounds a little bit like what happened with Brazil, where you see Brazil where it was just people being paid like piss poor money in piss poor conditions in stupid heat, building football stadiums right up until the last minute, and also South Africa as well.
That's the sad thing, because everyone, you hear the commentators saying, "Oh, the country's done." Come near the end of the tournament, especially the final, they'll say, "Oh, it's been a great World Cup here in South Africa. Well done by the organisers." I'm thinking, well done to the people who fucking work their bollocks off. You mean the people who will not get recognised?
Yeah, I think for South Africa as well. It's like, what the fuck do you do with those stadiums now? You've got all these 40,000 seater stadiums. And it's not like exactly, the South African league is booming and they've got these big teams that can sell out those stadiums. Don't know what you do with it. Even the ones that they did for Brazil, you could argue, for some of the teams.
This is it, because even then, when Rio Olympics happened 2 years after the 2014 World Cup, yes, they used maybe some of the stadiums for the football tournament, especially. I mean, look, the one stadium that is going to be used is the Maracanã because that's the home of Brazil. But that's been a thing way before this World Cup, as we all know. I mean, the 1950 World Cup when they lost to Uruguay in the final, or was that someone else? No, they lost to someone else, didn't they? Anyway, but it's just the fact that
Hungary.
Hungary. Sorry, yeah, you're right.
You were laughing at that then as well. Like, no, it was
no,
hungry.
I thought at first you meant I was hungry. Like you need to eat something to get your mind going again. I was like, maybe you're right.
Yeah, that's it. I'm going to eat my Mexico book.
No. If you're going to eat it, save it for me. Oh God, he's got another thing to make sure I buy it.
I've opened it.
Where's the Blanco?
It just so happens to be.
Oh no!
Yeah, that was just.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
It's just it's the middle page.
This is the equivalent of Zoo magazine for me right now.
He is not considered the great in Europe because he never conquered it. A bit like Ariel Ortega. We'll come to Mexico or America and they'll let you know just how good he was.
Yeah, this is look, great picture. The Confederations Cup in 1999. Blanco blitzed Brazil in that final.
This is a right quote from Carlos de los Cobos. Was he perfect? No, but he's the closest Mexico has come to football in perfection.
Probably right.
Yeah.
Probably right. I mean, I think it's hard to argue with that. That's quite a statement.
A bit about Carlos Vela. Yeah.
Carlos Vela. He was another one.
Wow.
Spaghetti.
More on that fella.
Oh, what a play!
How can you look at him and not smile? Just his face all the time.
But this is the thing, isn't it? Hernandez is a great ambassador for Mexican football, and you know, I loved him at Man United because, to be honest, he's the reason why I got into Mexican football. Because I remember about a week.
Not goal or goal two. No.
I've not seen
movies.
I've not seen them yet.
Oh my God, dude! Just to interrupt you there, just so I get it out before you carry on. It's basically goal. The goal movies. It's a trilogy. It's basically Chicharito. It's basically Little P. It's a fella called Santiago Munez who is playing in the streets of Mexico. Is really good, but he lives in poverty. And comes to the UK. Manages to get a trial somehow with Newcastle. Doesn't like the cold and the rain and all the climate change. He's away from his family.
How did I not know this?
Yeah, but the manager sees something in him and takes a punt on him, and he lights up the Premier League. And then
with Newcastle, yeah. I remember the posters, and then he goes to Real Madrid.
That's it, yeah. He goes to Real Madrid, and it's got cameos from like Beckham, Gravison,
Ronaldo,
Iker Casillas. No, I think OG Ronaldo maybe, yeah, not Cristiano.
Oh yeah.
It's Raul, and then so the second film he goes to Madrid, and he tears it up at Real Madrid, and then the third film, which waited about 3 or 4 years to be released, it was a bit delayed, completely fucks him over. Because in the first 5 minutes, it's the whole build of the fucking trilogy is about him succeeding, going from nothing to the Premier League to the biggest team in the world in Real Madrid, to then going to the World Cup with Mexico. And you get to the World Cup in the third film, and in the first 5 minutes, he's injured and he's done and he's out for the whole film. So you see him for 5 minutes, and then the attention switches to his mate who plays for England, who used to be with Real Madrid, and it's all about him then. What? Dog shit, that third one. Yeah.
Well, this is the thing, because I remember when it was
like when Man United signed Chicharito from nowhere. It's like, it's Santiago Munez. It's because the films came out before him.
I love it.
No,
I love it.
The first two are really worth watching. The third one is so.
This is the thing, because like, I remember there was people like I remember reading reviews about the second film. No, sorry, the third film. I think it came out in 2011. I might be wrong.
Oh, that sounds about right.
Cause, like I did follow. It's weird. I did follow all of it, but I just never got round to seeing the films. And then you'd always have like Sport Bible quoting like the character now and again as a joke about someone else and living the dream and all that quote. And
that was the name of the film was Goal Living the Dream. That was the first
Goal
one,
Living. Yeah. And I remember some people would actually say if you don't include the third film, it's a great series. And yeah,
I've got the first two on DVD somewhere over there. They're decent. They're decent. Just the
I have
third
to give
one,
it a go.
No,
because that's the thing. Football films are hit and miss, aren't they? They're not. Yeah. No one really. I mean, bend it like Beckham, whether people like it or not. I thought it was a great film. For women's football, I thought it was good.
It's hard
a comedy.
It's hard to recreate the football element, and that's where I think goal does really well because it just uses footage. For Santiago Munez, they use real Newcastle footage, and he's just subbed out. Well, he's subbed in for Kieran Dyer, and the very last scene where he scores a last-minute winner free kick against Liverpool, it's Lauren Robert scoring a real-life free kick in the last
Really?
Yeah. So rather than trying to recreate the football bits, they use footage.
That's clever.
And players that, if blurry from a distance, like Kieran Dyer, who's got a similar sort of build, similar sort of skin tone, similar haircut, you can, with like movie license, you can get away with thinking like, oh yeah, that's Santiago Munez.
Yeah, it's funny because I saw the first Green Street film, which I loved.
Jesus,
I loved it. Oh no, I loved it.
The British accents in that.
I know, I love it. I mean, I love Elijah Wood. That's who I was meant to saying earlier when I said Lord of the Rings guy. But
that was me, Elijah Wood. Got to interview him at one point back in the day.
No way. What was he like?
Very nice dude, very nice fella. It was for a film called, I think it was called The Piano, where he has to keep playing the piano, otherwise someone's going to get killed.
Was it in person or was it like a?
It was over the internet.
Over the internet. Oh, that's
probably
so cool.
About 7-8 years ago.
Andrew does have a room dedicated to himself where there's literally photos of everyone he's interviewed. It's kind of like those Los Angeles restaurants where they've got people who've come in. Andrew and I have probably been on that list.
That bear,
that bout, the stormtrooper,
and Frank Rijkaard. They're all interviewed.
I remember the interview with the stormtrooper, and you were saying your armies are shit, aren't they?
Yes, exactly. That's when it ended. He tried to shoot me and missed.
Yeah, it sounds about right. The training that the Empire did not do was very bad. I've got John Hartson on my iPad now, analysing the game. You gotta love a bit of John Hartson.
Big John, what a player for Wales.
What a player!
Man.
He had did he have a brain tumour?
It was horrendous.
Because you can obviously see the scar of
I don't
where
want to say it was brain cancer because that's a harsh thing to put on someone that's not had it, but I'm sure it was brain cancer. It was cancer. It started with, I might be wrong on this. It's something that I don't want to be wrong on because obviously it's a very sensitive subject.
Yeah.
It started where he found a lump on his bits and had gone to the doctor, and he got testicular cancer, and then it spread to brain cancer. I'm sure that's exactly it. If not, I apologise if I'm completely wrong on that.
But I think you're right.
He was very close to not making it. Very, very close to not making it. But he's here. He's Big Johnny Hartson. But yeah, it was like a scary time where, without trying to, bring the mood down too much, it looked like
it was done.
There could be no John Hartson anymore.
And I remember him. I think I actually remember him not long after his surgery and all that, where he was on Football Focus, and it was so you could obviously see on on his head what the doctors have left for him. And it, I think I remember watching with my dad, and me and my dad always loved John Hartson as a pundit. I mean, I don't know how old I was when he retired, but he, Celtic, great job there, great job at Arsenal, great player, great ambassador for Welsh football. Chris Gunter's just been interviewed on S4C, and you can't beat his smile, can you?
No, not at all.
He's got a great smile, Chris Gunter. Of course, it's such a shame.
So I can clarify it. I've got it up on the internet now. Yeah, it was July 2009. He had chemotherapy after being diagnosed with testicular cancer, which has spread to his brain. The cancer spread to his lungs, and that he remained in critical condition following emergency surgery. The treatment was successful, and by December of that year, 2009, as reported that the cancer had been virtually eradicated from Hartson's body, although he would have more surgery and treatment to come. So,
wow.
Thankfully, I was right, and I wasn't making up things about him. But yeah,
don't worry, he's on S4C. He's a bit busy right now, so I think you're all good.
It's one of those things where you don't want to.
Yeah,
throw a diagnosis.
You don't want to get it wrong.
That sort of diagnosis on someone that
absolutely.
But it was serious with Big John. But just the moment for me is always the Craig Bellamy's goal against Italy. The ball from John Hartson.
When
it was 2000.
I don't know.
Nice pause there.
That was. I'm just gonna guess.
It was qualifying for the 2004 Euros. So 2000. It was when I was at university again, and it was just a game in the pub, just LD, the Black Lion in Aberystwyth, crammed in again, stupidly tiny. And I've still got my shirt. Oh my god, what a shirt! It was when we had the Kappa shirts that were skin tight.
Yes.
And luckily at that point in time, I was very fit and healthy, so it was all right. But like, if you slightly breathed out in the wrong way, it looked horrible on you.
They were tight. I didn't wear one, but you just had to see someone wear it.
Well, that was the thing with Big John. With John Hartson, was like, seeing him wearing it, it was like he was like your normal man in the pub wearing it, sort of thing. God love him. But yeah, it's pass for Craig Bellamy, just the way he holds it and slides him in. And you don't think of John Hartson necessarily as that sort of player. And then Craig Bellamy goes on, knocks it around Buffon, Wales 2-1 up, ridiculous. And I've still got my shirt. I've got the shirt signed by Robbie Savage, but I've got the shirt somewhere in my basement, and it's got a blood stain on it that I never been able to get off of when we scored, well, when Bellamy scored, and somebody elbowed me, obviously celebrating in the nose.
Oh, and just straight out, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not come off. It's never come off. I washed it. Then,
oh, man.
Anyway, Robbie Savage years later was doing a book signing in Wrexham. Literally 5 minutes walk from my house, so I went to that and got him to sign it. So it's not been washed since then, but yeah, lots of love for John Hartson. What a dude! And
yeah,
the way he tore it up in Scotland. But I also think in West Ham there was him, and this is going to date me again. Him and Paul Kitson went there, and I think it might have been Harry in charge, but it was just basically it was like West Ham were done for. They were knackered. It'd be maybe 1996. It was after he left Arsenal. It was from Arsenal to West Ham, and those two basically saved West Ham. And he had a spell at Coventry. And the Celtic one is always funny because he was supposed to go to Rangers and he'd signed. Everything was agreed with Rangers. He went to Rangers. The paperwork was done, and they said he wasn't. They wouldn't clear him from a medical, so he failed the medical with Rangers, and then the next day signed with Celtic, and then went on to score however many goals against Rangers.
Wow!
I
tell you what, Andy, you never failed to impress me with these stories. They're fantastic. Always a pleasure.
I'm just old. I remember stuff from back then. I couldn't tell you what day of the week it is pretty much most of the time.
Oh, don't worry. Today. I think it's Friday today.
Friday the 13th, is it? Yeah.
No, that's next week. Oh shit, I can't remember. I don't know anymore. All I know is that next weekend it's Christmas. Oh no, wait, it's Easter.
Holy shit, it is. That means I'm off on Friday. Holy shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so am I.
I get bank holidays now. It's weird. I'm not used
to. That's
going
to be weird for you because you're knowing you would have been like, yeah, I should be doing something.
No, I was having this conversation today watching the Rex game with one of my mates where I'm not used to time off at the moment. I'm still not used to time off. Where
are you enjoying it?
I am, but I don't know what to do with myself. Like I'm struggling to, because I'm used to just working like at least some sort of work every day of the week for the last so many years, and now it's like, well, no, you're contracted to do this. You can't work anywhere else, and you finish work at this time, and that's it. And it's like, can I not just work a bit extra? No, this is, you finish now. You finish at whatever time. You have your weekends off, and I'm like, okay, cool. I
love it how they're like, I'll just read my.
I can't read about Mexico.
Oh, for God's sake! I'll go buy the thing now if you want. I'll have to have a look in a minute. But anyway, let's just read some more comments before we wrap up our stream. Raf of Glindor Cambia has just said, thanks lads. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. It's nice to have you on, talk about Welsh football as well, Raf. We appreciate that. Jack says yo. Thank you. Hello, Jack. And Yogi M says, was a win deserved or a tie? Nah, I think Wales deserved the win. Yeah, for me, I'm sure Andy will agree as well in his Welsh shirt.
Definitely. I just thought I expected more from Mexico in the second half, to be honest. Yeah. I thought they would have come at Wales a bit more, and they didn't. So fuck them.
At least they'll be at the next World Cup. Anyway. Wow. Well, actually,
unnecessary.
Well, in the 5th ever meeting of Wales and Mexico, Wales have got their first ever win over Mexico. So well done to Wales, and thank you to everyone at home for watching our watch along. We reached around 15,000 views. No, not 15. Wow. 1,500. Sorry, I always get them mixed up.
Wow, what a cock tease that is. We got 15,000. 1,500 is still really good. I'm more than happy with 1,500. Way more than happy with 1,500. But yeah, so, teasing me with 15,000.
But yeah, we really appreciate the support, folks, and we've had a few more subscribers as well. So of course, do subscribe if you enjoyed the stream. Do join me tomorrow at 4 p.m. for the Bahrain Grand Prix. It should be a good race. Max Verstappen, pole position in the opening race of the
As if
season.
you're not doing the England game. That is disgraceful.
I could ask someone else to do it.
Can you stream twice
You
at once?
can.
Is it at the same time?
I've tested this and it does work. Me and Seb tried it the other night. You just have a different stream.
Why is that not happening? So just to confirm to any,
I need to find someone.
No, to confirm to people watching right now, there will be a stream of the England game tomorrow as well.
Oh crap! And that is our CEO telling me that, so I need to do it. Right, Andrew Perlo, of course. Actually, I might change that. I might change your name to Andrew Perlo on my phone.
I'll take it. I'll take it. To be fair.
Right. Anyway. Andrew, pleasure as always, my friend. It always is.
It was for you. Yeah.
Love it.
That's what she said. Yeah.
That's what Michael Scott-esque there. And he still hasn't seen the show. Anyway, well, Andrew, pleasure as always. Hopefully see you on a watch along soon, and of course see you folks next time. Hopefully tomorrow with us for the F1 and maybe the England game. We'll see you later, and do subscribe.